What's happening, people? Shit. Which was also my reaction when I saw this evening's team news. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a double game week 15, part 2. Hope you're all well. We'll come on to team news in a minute. It's absolute carnage. Bench boosters. Oh, my word. If you've got 15... If you manage to get 30 fixtures out of this, I don't know how. Incredible. The amount of changes tonight. There are shitloads. If you haven't seen the team news, here's the good news. Charlton have made no changes. It goes up to as bad as Spurs have made 7. We'll get onto all that in a moment. Firstly, as usual, shout out to our friends, FPL Tactician, Dave Simple Goal, James Alapran, and my graphics hero, FPL Captain. Thank you very much for everything you're doing. In the graphics tonight, you'll notice something slightly different. Obviously, only 6 Premier League fixtures. We will have updates of the European games as we go on through the night. Just 6 Premier League fixtures. There's a nice little green graphic, of course, created by Chris at FPL Captain. Just highlighting, obviously, what we're doing in terms of live stream raising money for NHS Charities Together. This Saturday starts 6 AM for 24 hours. If you want to donate at any point, which obviously we would love you to, if you can afford to, link is now in my bio on Twitter. It's also in my pin tweet in Twitter as well. So that's going to stay there until essentially the YouTube live link is ready to go on Saturday morning. Let's see who's in this chat. We've got a bit more time tonight, haven't we? Adam Bain is first in. Karan Yadav second in. Adam English is in. Alex Tyke. Adam Baines is in again. Of course he is. He was already in once. Nick Griffith, hello. FPL JJ, how you doing, mate? Michael Den4, Colm, Heno84, Alan Mottaddy, FPL Badger, Gary Shepherd, Andy North, my man FPL Captain, Dick Wellington, Luke Portiers, Clean Sheet, Wipeout, Carl Coot, Perlo's Pen, Heskibo, Scala, Mark Dorney. Thank you very much for joining me early tonight, guys. Right, let's get into this carnage. It's bad. So, this is what happened to my notes. Look at the state of it now. Normally I can read that quite carefully, so I'm going to be like this tonight. Less games, bigger carnage. Aston Villa have made, let me count them, 5 changes. There is no place in the Villa lineup for, some of them are not important, I think one of them mildly. So no place for Stephen Carr, who's obviously injured, Mustafa Hadji, Thomas Hitzelsberger, Paul Merson, not in that Villa lineup. Gareth Barry is the one with 8% ownership, and I'm not going to lie, if I'd have put a Villa player in my free hit team, he was the only one under consideration. He is not in the Villa lineup. The 5 players who come into that Villa team are Damien Delaney, Alan Wright. I thought I could hear myself. What a fucking weirdo, look. It's because I can hear myself. Damien Delaney, Alan Wright. Who else? What other shit players did they bring in tonight? Steve Stone, George Boateng, and Lee Hendry, who I'm not sure if he'd made him to start at all this season at any point. I couldn't recall. Slight change of system to Villa. Obviously, they were 4-4-2 with the 2 central of the diamonds going to wide positions. Now it's a more orthodox 4-4-2. Schmeichel retains his place in goal, owned by over 26% this game week. Delaney at right back, Alan Wright at left back. Both those fullbacks encouraged to attack. The centre halves are Melberg and Alpay. Midfield 4, right to left, is Stone, Boateng, Taylor, Hendry. Dion Dublin and Bosco Balaban up front. Juan Pablo Angel is only a substitute for Villa. He's on the bench with Darius Vassell, Hitzelsberger, Enkelman, Cashlaw. What you'll find as well, a lot of these guys who have come out the starting 11s this evening, they ain't even on the bench. The game week is done for many of them. For many of them, it's not. They are on substitutes bench. But, I mean, yeah, this is carnage. 5 changes for Southampton. Gary Monk and Francis Benali, who came into the Southampton team quite randomly at the weekend, are back out following the 3-2 beating by Blackburn. I say beating, they obviously were 3-0 down. No Joe Tessam in the team, neither Keres, who'd scored during the game, and obviously James Beattie. I just see the comment of someone responding to someone about Juan Pablo Engel and the amount of travelling he's doing. James Beattie not in the Saints lineup again. Kevin Davis back in. So it's Dan Petrescu, Gavin Ray, Mark Draper, Brian Howard from E17 and Kevin Davis come into the Southampton lineup. There was per usual a 4-4-2. Jones retains his place in goal. It is Petrescu at right back. Delap Lundikval in the centre halves. Gavin Ray plays left back. Anders Svensson is on the right midfield. Brian Howard left midfield. Both of those two players allowed to advance. It's Murray and Draper essentially for Southampton. Davis back in with Pahars up front. BT, Letizier, Oakley, Joe Tessam, Neil Moss on the bench for Saints. To Ewood Park, where of course it's a nice home fixture. Blackburn go back to a 3-4-1-2. 4 changes for them here, but I'm going to be honest with all of you, I might have missed some of these, so do point out in the chat if I miss any of the changes. There are so many. Blackburn make 4 changes. No place for Graham Lasso, picked up an injury in that win at Southampton at the weekend. Mark Hughes isn't in the team in spite of scoring. No Craig Hignett or Damien Duff either. Obviously, Grabby, Marcus Bent come back into the side to play up front. David Dunn is in the Blackburn side, so too is Stig Inge Bjornaby, who plays left wing back. Alan Kelly keeps his place in goal. Back 3 is Curtis, Berg, Weverill. Wing backs Bjornaby and McAteer. David Dunn, 2 guys central midfield. Matt Janssen up front in support of Marcus Bent and Corrado Grabby up front. 2 wing backs, Bjornaby and McAteer, really encouraged to push on, and so too Janssen from the 10 position. It's Friedel, Alan Mahon, Damien Duff, Martin Taylor, Mark Hughes on the Rovers bench. They host Leicester City. The headline news from that team is, I don't know where to start. So Jerry Taggart plays. I think it's important for a lot of people. Gary Rowett also plays. Andy Impey plays. Callum Davison plays at left back, which means Damien Delaney goes into central midfield. That means there's no place for Dennis Wise, which I think is the real headline news of this. Wise, obviously, in a lot of teams, particularly free hitters. But there are starts for Izzet, Scowcroft, Sturridge, Matt Elliott. Actually, it's 5 changes for Leicester because they've changed the goalkeeper again. Tim Flowers is back in. So Leicester are, other than looking a complete mess ahead of this fixture. Flowers in goal. Back 4, right to left, is Rowett, Elliott, Taggart, Davidson, which means Heath and Stewart, McAnuff and Wise, and Ian Walker are the 5 to miss out. Midfield 4, right to left, is Savage, Izzet, Delaney, Impey. All 3 of the 4 midfielders, basically all of them except Delaney, allowed to push on and attack from that position. Scowcroft is usual in his 10 position to advance to right up front with Dean at Sturridge. On the bench for Leicester, Ian Walker, Matt Heath, Jordan Stewart, Cole Noble, Matthew Jones. Dennis Wise's game week is finished. For Bolton Wanderers, they make 5 changes. No place for, it's a car crash defensively. No place for Colin Hendry or Paul Warhurst. No Kevin Nolan, no Simon Charlton, and no Henrik Pedersen either for Bolton. Into the team come Gudni Bergson, Anthony Barnes, Nicky Southall, Diawara and Michael Ricketts. Bolton are Jaskalainen. Back 3 of Bergson, Cooper, Barnes. Wing backs who can really advance of Southall, Madison. Diawara and Robert Lee central midfield. Wallace in the 10 position. Nishizawa and Ricketts up front. On the bench for Bolton, Steve Banks, Bo Hanson, Paul Warhurst, Mike Whitlow, Dean Holden. So again, Colin Hendry, Henrik Pedersen, double game week is finished here and now. Their opponents are Middlesbrough, and this is one of the good news stories in terms of rotation tonight, in my opinion. There are only 2 changes to the Middlesbrough lineup, and I don't think they're going to impact anybody's teams. So there's no Noel Whelan and there's no Mark Somerville in the Middlesbrough lineup. In come Marinelli and Windass. So Middlesbrough have stuck with what's become quite a solid team for them on the whole. It's Crossley in goal. Same back four, Stockdale, Southgate, Egiog, Fester. Midfield four, right to left, is Marinelli, Ince, Windass, Johnston. Johnston and Marinelli can attack from them wide positions. Rickard and Boxic up front. On the bench, Schwarzer, Whelan, Ian Pearce, Jonathan Greening, Paul Ocon. Now, if you thought it was just obviously of the 12 teams tonight, one of them is not double game weekend. It's Derby County's first game of the game week. Obviously, they should have played against Leeds United at the weekend, which was obviously postponed due to international fixtures. So you would expect Derby to go. Derby are quite a settled side. Nope, they've gone mental as well. 5 changes for Derby, including all 3 centre halves, Riggott, Carboneri and Steve Elliott come out the side. Valakri's not in the team. Ravanelli is not in the Derby team. Into the side come Blatsis, O'Neill, Mwenny, Murray, Malcolm Christie. So it's Poom in goal. Brand new back 3 of Con Blatsis, Brian O'Neill and Yul Mwenny. O'Neill is allowed to step out from that back 3. Johnson and Aranio stay as the wing backs. It's Powell, Burley and Murray in midfield. Kinclardsey and Christie as split forwards up front. I'd made a note to say that Fabrizio Ravanelli does not have a single owner in this game, despite improving form recently. And I just felt he was going to be the one that absolutely banged tonight. He doesn't, and he won't. He's not even on the Derby bench. It's Andy Oakes. I can't pronounce that one. Christopher Weckstrom. That's a late night job, isn't it? Lee Morris, Adam Boulder and Daniele Daigno are the Derby substitutes. Charlton Athletic, Hale, unchanged. No changes for Charlton at all. So it's Dean Kiley, Kishishev, Rufus, Fish, Powell, Kinsella, Jensen, McAllister, Wilcox, Yule, Bartlett. Attacking arrows for Wilcox and Kinsella. On the bench, Ben Roberts, Danny Shitu is a substitute. Graham Stewart is a substitute. So to Jonathan Hansen and Jonathan Fortune. Don't worry. If you think it's bad, I'll take you through the 7 Spurs changes in a minute. That's cause, right? Anybody who saw the end of the stream last night, they went out and got pissed, didn't they? They went and won at Arsenal, gone out and gone pissed. Just picked a team full of kids, basically. The Sunderland lineup. Only one change for Sunderland. Gary Teal comes into that side in place of Gavin McCann. It is a change of system, though, and this is an interesting one. I would describe it as a modern-day 3-4-3 with 2 sitting holding midfield players, a back 3, wing-backs that start in higher sort of wide midfield positions, and 3 attacking forwards with 2 of them to go into wide positions. So this takes a bit of explaining. It's Sorensen in goal. The back 3 are left to right, McCartney, Tome and Mills. McCartney and Mills are to go into the fullback positions when Sunderland are in possession. That means they are essentially leaving Emerson Tome on his own centre half when they have the ball. They don't want to be conceding possession high, I can tell you that. 2 sitting holding midfield players, Stephen Schwartz, Chris Bark-Williams. Michael Gray plays left midfield, Gary Teal plays right midfield, and the front 3 are Phillips, Leslandis and Reddy. It looks like bad news for Kevin Phillips because Phillips and Reddy are being tasked to go out into wide positions, and Leslandis, like he was at the weekend, is the central of that front 3. Remember, he has 4 in his last 2. They host Chelsea tonight, and we can certainly predict that they would be a side that would rotate, and I don't think it's good news for many of you. 5 changes. I think the headline news is probably that Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank does start again. No Gallas, Gronkiar, Dallabonna, Zola or Gudjohnsen in the Chelsea starting lineup. Terry, Stanic, Morris, Benito Carboni, Mikel Forsell come into that Chelsea lineup. It's Kudachini in goal. Back 3 of Melchiot, Desai, Terry. Babiaro and Stanic are the wing backs. Jody Morris partners Frank Lampard in central midfield. Carboni plays in the 10 position. It's Forsell and Hasselbank up front. On the bench, interestingly for Chelsea, subkeeper Reece Evans, Albert Ferrer, Budavine Zenden, Zola and Gudjohnsen are both substitutes for Chelsea. And to White Hart Lane, where I counted 7, yes, 7 changes for the Spurs lineup. The survivors, and that's easier to start with, is Casey Keller, owned by over 11% of you. Simon Davis, who's owned by none of you and had been hardly seen until obviously pure shithousery at Highbury in the first part of this double game week, getting Ashley Cole sent off and then creating the winner for Teddy Sheringham. Stefan Selakovic does start and in the 10 position and with an attacking arrow. And Teddy Sheringham also starts in the 10 position with an attacking arrow. So, out of the Spurs lineup go all of the back 5. So the 3 centre halves, Perry, Bunjevcevic and Richards. And both wing backs, Anderton and Ziga. There is no Gus Poyet in the Spurs lineup. And probably the biggest headline of tonight's team news is there is no Sergei Rebrov in the Tottenham 16. Spurs, pissed, line up as Casey Keller in goal. A back 3 of Ledley King, Richard Johnson, who's a midfield player really, and Alton Farewell, young centre-half. Wing-backs are Ben Thatcher and Oyvind Leonardson, really encouraged to push up high up the pitch. Simon Davis is partnered in central midfield by Stephen Clements. Sheringham is in the 10 position, allowed to attack. Selakovic just left of him in an attacking 10 position to advance as well. And Stefan Everson plays up front. When they're with the ball together, it will be a front 3 of right to left, Everson, Sheringham, Selakovic. On the bench for Spurs, some other pissheads. Neil Sullivan, Ben Bodic, Johnny Jackson, Willem Corsten and Chris Armstrong. I can't explain to you what this game does, honestly. Just 2 changes for Everton. No place for Nicholas Alexanderson or Paul Gascoigne. There are starts for Alan Stubbs and Thomas Gravison, who were surprise omissions from the weekend's lineup. So Stubbs has 4% owners, Gravison 2.5% this game week. So they both come into the Everton side tonight. Everton are 5-3-2. Gerrard in goal. The 2 fullbacks, Watson and Naismith, can attack. The 2 wide centre-halves have to go wide into fullback areas. That's Unsworth and Weir. Stubbs stays central. Gravison has to come back from a central midfield deep when they have the ball. Pembridge and Gemmell are allowed to get right up forward in support of Duncan Ferguson and Thomas Rositzky. On the bench for Everton, Steve Simonson, Nick Chadwick, Kevin Campbell, Abel Xavier and Danny Kader-Martiri. Good luck. I have 10 left. So from the 22 possible fixtures for me, the only one I've lost is Rebrov tonight. It's not too bad if it wasn't my captain or anything. I think I'm going to have done better than most from that perspective. I want to know in the chat who's got the fewest starters tonight. Who's got the fewest? Like, has anyone got like 4 or 5 starters from this game tonight and he's properly in here just for the bants and he's actually shitting themselves? I'd be delighted to know. Let me know in the chat if you think you've got the lowest number of starters tonight. Like these sirens. Now, there are other games this evening. There are European fixtures. See Arsenal and Manchester United in Champions League action. And we've got 4 sides in UEFA Cup action as well. I haven't even had time to look at the team news for these. So I'm going to be looking at this now myself for the first time. We are probably just about kickoff. Yep, kickoff in the 8 p.m. kickoffs. Best stay alert as I believe we may be about to be overtaken by a severe case of double game week fever. Let's do this. Stop fucking honking. Right, let's have a look at this European team news while we're waiting for some early events to happen. So United, pretty much as you would expect. Silvestre plays left back, interestingly, but it's Barthez, Phil Neville, Blanc, Gary Neville, Silvestre, Beckham, Keane, Varane, Giggs, York, Van Nistelrooy. So United not mucking about. They play Lazio tonight, which is obviously a difficult fixture. Arsenal in Greece playing Olympiacos. It's Omri and Jeffers up front. Midfield 4 is Lundberg, Van Bronckhorst, Parla, Perez. Remember, we suspected that Tikhonov would be rested for a lot of Champions League games. Back 4 is the same as, the defeat to Spurs, and David Seaman's still in goal. There's not a lot to add. There's no shocks in those United or Arsenal sides. In the UEFA Cup, some interesting ones. And now remember, after these fixtures, the European fixtures don't return for months anyway. February, March, not for about 8-10 game weeks or so. So Liverpool tonight are in Deportivo, 0-0 in the first leg. Leeds have taken a 2-0 lead to Milan. Newcastle have it all to do, host Ajax tonight. They're 3-0 down and they've got no players. And Porto play Ipswich tonight. Ipswich lost that first leg 1-0 at Portman Road. Obviously in El Drago tonight in Portugal. Ipswich are a 5-3-2. My eyes instantly brought to the fact that Jermaine Wright is playing up front with Pablo. He's as a defensive forward, though, so has to come back in without the ball. It starts for Royce, Holland, Fanidi. Back 5 is Tarico, Gardso, Bramble, Horizon, Clapham, Serrani in goal. Not too many shocks. Goal at the Stadium of Light. And it's Sunderland's only change who has scored. It's Gary Teal with the goal. And the assist goes to Lilian Laslandes. And everybody just goes, fuck, man. What did I spend that extra bit of money for? Liverpool. Let's do Liverpool because that's quite important, isn't it? As they've potentially got double game week 16 coming up. Dudek, Hegum, Hippier, Henshaw, Vignal, Murphy, Gerrard, Biscan, Barnby, Heskey and Fowler. Heskey and Fowler up front. Yari Lippmanen is a substitute for Liverpool. For Leeds United, who obviously don't play game week 16, so I'll go through this quite quickly. They obviously have a 2-0 lead in Milan. It's Martin, Kelly, Radaby, Ferdinand, Hart, Backer, DeCourt, McPhail, Kuehl, Viduka, Robbie Keane right up front. Goal at Pride Park. And it's scored by Charlton's Richard Rufus and assisted by his central defensive partner, Mark Fish. Charlton, lead at Derby. Chelsea, of course, are behind at Sunderland. Managerless Sunderland. And finally, the Newcastle lineup. I think with the injuries, no one's particularly going near this. It's given Andy O'Brien plays right back. Marcelino, Dabizas, Elliott, Gavilan right midfield, Bernard left midfield, Gary Speed, Clarence Acuna central midfield, Craig Bellamy, Cole Court up front. I see some of you are already doing something in the chat. I'll do it too. James Alapran, what a hero, mate. Not just obviously the shout out at the start of this stream, but I know that James is going to be staying up very, very late tonight to get the sheets ready for everybody, good to go in time for game week 16. You might remember there was part conversation to have this double game week as Tuesday and Wednesday. The guys didn't really want to fuck around with the deadline in terms of people might miss the deadline, etc. So we're going late on Thursday night. It's part why there isn't going to be an early kickoff Saturday, so that James has got as much time as possible to get them sheets updated, ready and live for you. Please give the guys a chance, you know, to whenever they're going to be open. It's probably not going to be till tomorrow afternoonish. Keep an eye on the Champman channels. They'll obviously communicate in terms of what and when and how that's happening. But yeah, massive shout out, Mr. James Alapran. Very, very well done, my friend. Okie dokie. Information on those two early goals this evening. So, great goal by Gary Teal. He picks up the ball on the halfway line, gets his head down and runs. He beats Melchot and then jinks past John Terry, finding himself on the penalty spot from where he strokes past Kudachini. Sensational. And Charlton have lift-off at Pride Park. Gary McAllister's free kick into the box bounces off the wall and finds its way to Mark Fish. He tees up Richard Rufus, who hits a fierce shot, which a striker would be proud of, and it flies past Poom for 1-0. Rufus with a clean sheet against Liverpool at the weekend, and now a goal this evening. Is he going to be this unlikely double game week hero? He's certainly in a few teams, and he would have been in mine if I didn't free hit, by the way. Interestingly, about 2% have got Richard Rufus. I made note of. Mark Fisher's got next to nobody. Okay, let me get myself in the chat with you guys. As you can see there, Andy Martin's message at 8 o'clock. Can we all just show appreciation to James Alapran tonight? He'll be staying up very late to get sheets out tomorrow morning, hopefully. Andy, sorry, I literally just saw your message, mate. But very well done. And obviously, well done to yourself, Andy, and Dave as well. Top stuff. Continue doing what you're doing. Now, I did ask for who had the fewest number of starters this evening. So just having a look through here. Brian Yule, Billy Hadaway both saying 5 starters. Rory's saying Brian wins. We doesn't. Billy's got 5. Stay Jones got 8. Vina Ritchie 7. Clean sheet wipeout 9. Hassan's got 10. David Rose only got Gronkiar missing, so I guess he's got 10. Ryan Foley's got 5. It says Hendry, Rebroff and Poyet all dropped. Ash has 7. Only Staunton not starting. What a blow that is. Half owns Steve Staunton. Beer of choice tonight. Tim Lum is the Siren Beers. I'm expecting an updated package from Steph and the Beer Nuts guys in the morning. I have a goal to tell you about in the UEFA Cup. AC Milan have made the tie alive. Andrei Shevchenko has scored against Leeds. That's now 2-1 to Leeds on aggregate. Milan make this tie alive. Good work from Rui Costa, and Boban releases Helveg down the flank, and he crosses for Shevchenko, who powers a header past Martin. Man, never thought I'd be commentating on Andrei Shevchenko. Hassan's got Rebroff, Barry and Wise all missing. Plenty of thanks and love in the chat for James. Rory says, I don't have the lowest number of starters, but without a goal in weeks, I definitely have the lowest number of finishes. Shut up, Rory. All you do is moan, man. Your missus must be sick of you. FPL JJ's got 7 players. I don't mean that. You might not have a missus. I feel bad now. Lots of love. Late Riser 12 says, big round of applause for James Alapran. Yep, boom. Lots of love in there for James Alapran from Ram, Billy Hadaway, FPL Andy, Rory, Hassan, Colmes, stop horning. Yeah, that was a while ago now. Scala, Richard Skeens in the chat saying hello. Jack Tasker's got 6 starters out of a possible 10. Alan Mott Daddy giving his thanks to James. Clean sheet wipeout 2. Colmes giving a big up. Josh Riddle has 6 starters. Dick Wellington says Sunderland going to win the league. Yeah, I should think so, mate. The championship next season. Josh Riddle, Chelsea clean sheet gone. Lovely start. Yeah. Chelsea, no clean sheets in this double. Bolton at home, Sunderland away. They look the most likely, but likely, no likey. Turn your light off. Yeah, they can't be trusted. But he had always say Melchuk clean sheet gone already. Adam Baines, Landis again. FPL Andy nailing it. Chelsea is shit. Rory says fuck. Stephen Hamilton, Chelsea clean sheet did not last long. Late Risers loving the Chelsea clean sheet wipeout. Scarlett says, Landis is on fire. Your defence is terrified. Landis on fire. Your defence is terrified. Matthew Milton, Chelsea clean sheet, low. Clean sheet wipeout. Melchuk clean sheet lasted long. Heskibo, double Chelsea defence went well then. Eritroa's in the chat says hello. Hello, my friend. Alan Mott Daddy. Didn't even play right wing back once. Fail. That will be in mention to Mario Melchior, I think, who had big ownership in this. And obviously, 34.2% I had, and that's the ownership of him in this game. That's overall ownership. 34.2%. He has started both, but he's played both at centre half, which is not what I think people were looking for. Brian Newell, that goal taking the piss out of Shitu owners. That would be on the Rufus Fish combination. Like Riser saying, chant for Europe. Yeah, I mean, where are they in the league now? That'll come around on the graphic in a minute, I'm sure. But yeah, they've got to be about 7-ish or so. But they don't lead anymore, Charlton. Their clean sheet is gone. Yul Maweni, one of those 3 defenders to come into the team, is another defender who scored this game week. Maweni, the goal scorer. Assist goes to Georgie Kinkladze. Derby on terms, 10 minutes in at Pride Park. Yul Maweni, the goal scorer. Assist for Georgie Kinkladze. Scarlett says, Charlton going for the title. Patrick Lawson, 3 of my players dropped tonight. Excellent start. As if Vargas Chelsea is going to be managerless soon too. I think you could be right there, my friend. Cole Coote says, cheers, James. Andy North, good luck, James. Hero. But he had away legend. Paul Tinkler, thank you, James. That's not for me. That's for James Alapron. Stian Denstad says, my God, how I miss my non-double game week team. Mark Dorney is laughing lots. One of the goals probably earlier. FPL Sergeant, top man, James Alapron. Perlo's Pens got 10 starters. Let's hear about that Mwenny goal for Derby, who equalised with a goal from a set piece. Kinklasi puts the ball in from a corner, and Mwenny meets it nicely to head past in Kylie. Charlton will be frustrated to give away such a simple goal. Karan Yadaf also wants to give big thanks to James Alapron. Cole Coote's got 10 out of 10 starters tonight. Anurag's in the chat, only Staunton dropped, which I somewhat expected. Yeah, Cal just missing Rebroff. Cole Norbury, wish I had the cojones to double up on Borough defence instead of Chelsea and go without Johnson. Andy North, always thought Shevchenko was the better Ukrainian. I wouldn't argue that, Andy. I don't think that was ever in question, mate. Dick Wellington, damn the good old days when men were men. Karen Yadav's got Wise and Gronkia missing for him. Alamot Daddy, champ man, Serie A next. I don't know half the players in this game, mate. And you know my football knowledge. A lot of people be struggling. Vinyl Richie, Shevchenko, the Spurs killer. All right there, mate. All right there, mate. What you got to say for yourself? You want to get fucking muted, blood? That's all he ever did for Chelsea, was score one ridiculous goal from an angle in an FA Cup quarter-final replay at Way Out Lane. He never done nothing else. Mate, you buy a centre forward, you finish careers at that football club. Avitravo, 8 out of 10 starters. Ziga and Rebroff drops. Rory, don't worry, she hates me as well, mate. Good man, Rory. That's it. Have yourself a bit of a low evening, mate. Adam Baines loved the Serie A version. Heno84, just thought, with the stream last night, tonight, and the 24-hour stream on Saturday, I will see more of you than my missus this week. That's okay, mate. You can join me about 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon as well. Any football questions, go. And this week, if you want to ask any direct questions and put me on the spot about things like Patreon and the live stream on Saturday, then by all means, you can do. Ryan says, Chelsea, what a fraud team. Breaking news from Sunderland. The shifty-looking bloke spotted sitting in the Sunderland's director's box tonight, we're told, is, in fact, not a dodgy market trader, but Sunderland's new boss. His appointment will be confirmed tomorrow, apparently. But who on earth is it? That looks like Peter Shreves. Is that Peter Shreves? I think it is. Either that or it's some foreign guy I've never heard of. That really looks like Peter Shreves, but it's a dodgy picture. He's got his hand over his mouth. There are some replies. I'm going to have a look at the comments to that. Benny Blanco saying Jigsaw. Sergeant saying Harry Redknapp. Halsey saying looks like Chris Tarrant. Can someone get on that comment and tell me the more older heads in the chat who remember what Peter Shreves looked like? Is that Peter Shreves who was manager at Spurs in the early 90s and obviously had a spell at Sheffield Wednesday as well? That's who it looks like. Andrew Mike says, I would like to do Champman Serie A on this game. You just opened a motherfucking can of worms for yourself, boy. Perry Allen's got 8 playing. Come on, Taggart, who's obviously back in that Leicester lineup tonight. Jerry Taggart, owned in this game week by 11.5%. Not a huge number, and I think many of them will obviously have him on the bench as well. Adam Baines wants to sign up to your Serie A game, Mr. Martin. Pete Squires, that Smithy bloke has just... Oh, where's that comment gone? Has just turned up at the Leeds v Milan first leg. Did he now? Did he? Did he now? Oh, there you go. There's a further comment from the Champman account. The woman next to me reckons that guy with the bling is Peter Shreves. With his Sheffield Wednesday side flying high in Division 1, I can see his appeal, but I suspect Sunderland fans will be a bit underwhelmed by this one. He may well be as well. Managerless, they obviously won at Leicester at the weekend and lead Chelsea 2-0 this evening. But it does look like Peter Shreves will be the next Sunderland manager. And Kenny Dalglish is likely to be the Aston Villa manager. Hassan Colour, would you believe me if I said I was deciding between Melchior and Rufus? Yes, and I'd also believe that you definitely picked Melchot, mate. Ian Davis, that song is a nightmare to Sunderland fans. Which one, Ian? Which one? Which one? I was singing something, weren't I? Lillian, something about Lillian Islanders, wasn't it? Oh, of course, Will Grigg played for him, didn't they? Yeah. Good afternoon, evening, everyone says FBL Blade. He's a shitty owner here. He's also still got Jason Newell as captain, I should imagine. And the woodwork has been hit at the Reebok, so close to an opener for Borough. Alan Johnston puts in a nice corner, which Alan Boxic meets well. Unfortunately for the Croatian, his header smacks off the crossbar instead of finding a net. So close, and Middlesbrough are pressing for the opener. Alan Mottdaddy, triple captain, Batty goal. I mean, yeah, if you have Batistuta in this, there's your alternative captaincy to your Van Nistelrooy and Henry. FBL Sergeant says, "Evening Blade, Yule has done nothing." I think FBL Blade will just do nothing. Remember, our friend FBL Blade, who we keep ribbing about, Jason Yule, will be able to explain himself at 3:30 on our 24-hour Champman stream. Fortunately for FPL Blade, that's 3:30 in the morning, unfortunately for most of you guys. But that's kind of going to be our middle of the night. We'll obviously talk about them Blades, and we'll talk a little bit about Champman at 3:30 in the morning when me and Suj are off our nut, I think. Tomo's in America, so he'll be 5 hours behind us. It'll be like 10:30 p.m. his time, I think. Hassan Carlos says, anyone think they'll hit 100? I need 23 non-appearance points from 10 players. I wouldn't bank on it on the way this game has gone so far, Hassan. By the way, at half-time, I'm going to take you through the full schedule on Saturday's stream as well, in terms of all of it. Everything we're doing from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. Corf's in the chat. FPL Ferrell heard a rumour James is not going to shave his beard until Spurs lose. Come on, you Spurs. It's absolutely not true, mate. I think with the team that Spurs put out tonight, might be getting fucking beat tonight, but I don't care. We beat the scum 1-0. We beat the scum 1-0. 1-0. Or, you know, what was that song they used to sing? 1-0 to the Tottenham. 1-0 to the Tottenham. 1-0 to Southampton now. 1-0 to Southampton now. Double game weeks. Pick nailed starters. Marion Pahars has put Southampton ahead at Villa Park. An assist goes to a man who was MIA at the weekend, missing in action. The Romanian Dan Petrescu has assisted for Southampton. Pahars with a goal, Dan Petrescu with the assist. Southampton lead at Villa Park. I'm trying to, as we've only got 6 games, I'm trying to catch up on all the conversations tonight if I can. Gary Shepherd, 4 starters here. Bloody hell, Gary Shepherd's just won it. 4 starters. No Wise, Redbuff, Poyet or Lord Staunton. Still enjoying being here though. Gary, you've got to let us know who those 4 starters are, mate. Arid Trava, Kinclazi's his 3rd sub. Yeah, that'll happen. Brian Yule says Kinclazi only returns when his arse is nailed to the bench. She said. Patrick Lawson, Kinclazi 3rd on the bench, knew he'd return when I saw he starting. FPL Fish, 4 transfers made this week from -8 and only 4 games played between them. Terry and Taggart missed first game, and now Redruff and Gronkiar missed the second. Missed his second game, and you ain't got any returns out of that either, mate. Leicester can keep a clean sheet, or if Taggart or Terry get attacking returns tonight. Michael Den 4, another overrated double game week, just like real life, isn't it though? I'll tell you what, the one thing about this as well, the amount of changes tonight. So total changes tonight altogether, I make 45 changes I've got tonight from 12 teams. So what's that average of kind of 3.5? And you got to remember, you've got Charlton unchanged in there. Everton have only made 2. Middlesbrough only made 2. All the rest have made at least 4. That's going to give people some fear for future doubles, I think. Anyhow, Richard T's only got 1 cleanie left. The Borough. That's a long way to put in the chat, and hold on for that. Andrew Martin's disappointed that with all the Derby rotation, Makuku still doesn't start. Danny's saying bench Gary Teal after the leak. It's a double game week. You must have had loads of double game weekers knocking about, mate. Should that have been a bench boost, Danny? I don't know. Ash, 7 starters out of 8. Ruud van Nistelrooy captain has killed my game week. It has not, mate, because nobody's done anything yet. Look at that captaincy numbers there. The only captainer who's got 1% or more that has returned so far is Ida Johnson, who got an assist for Chelsea at the weekend. But that has just changed. Goal for the boys from the Riverside. Alan Boxic is on the score sheet for Borough. Alan Johnston has the assist. That has got to be a combo that many free hitters particularly will have, I would say. Boxic in 20% of teams this game week. Johnston in 64%. Now that puts Johnston on 6 assists for the season. Postman delivers. Should Middlesbrough not concede today, and even if Johnson is not in the bonus, that would be a 9-point return for him this double game week. Boxic, currently as it stands before bonus, would be on 8. But I suspect that particularly Boxic, very, very likely to be in the bonus there tonight. And with the defensive back three that Bolton have picked tonight, I think there could be more for Borough as well. Johnson and Boxic combine again from a set piece, but this time it goes in. The postman delivers a beautiful free kick into the box, and the Croatian targetman climbs above Jaskalainen to head home, proving he can deliver the goods too. If you consider that Johnson is obviously, I guess they're going to count as key passes. The fact that Boxic hit the bar from a Johnston corner earlier as well, they could well both be knocking about in the bonus, Johnson and Boxic. Boxic was just one big gamble for me, but in hindsight, excuse me, fucking everybody was. Heavy Finger 7, 9 playing with no chip shoes, just a -4 plus Jimmy Floyd Hasselman captain, pretty happy. Vinyl Richie said we only need 1 goal for every 40 million we spend. Aye. Brian Yule says, I didn't sign Teal after the leak, swings and roundabouts, I guess. Mark Dorney, 9 starters, no Redruth or Wise. Southampton, if you had any of their defensive assets, you won't be having any clean sheets in this double game week. It's gone. Goal scorer for Aston Villa is Steve Stone. There is no assister there. 23 minutes gone at Villa Park. Steve Stone with the Aston Villa equaliser. FPL Panic says in his best Len Goodman voice, 7 starters here. I can't do that one. Cole Coote, what is going on? 13 minutes and not 1 headbutt yet. Shit game week. Danny saying, yeah, Peter Shreves. Brian Yule is indeed Peter Shreves. Is just catching up on the chat tonight. I might as well cover everybody's comments where I can, as there's obviously less for me to talk about. Perlo's Pen, is Peter Shreves? Just Googled him. If you're Hesco, yep, definitely Shreves. Stephen Hammett's Peter Shreves. Reverse image, search the photo. Haha. Cole might as well sign up. Jeff Shreves. FPL Irons, it's Shreves. FPL Fish says it's Shreves. Shreves. Lots of Shreves. Ryan. FPL Badger. Mark Dorney. FPL Ferrell says next year championship version, Andy. FPL Irons, that photo comes up on Google Images when you type in his name. Detective Irons. Our friend Irons in our quiz that we did this week has got the highest score again so far this week. Following his 25 out of 26 last week. He's got 23 out of 26 this week. Where we did a quiz that we released yesterday. It's on YouTube. It's on our all the podcasts. It's free, by the way. Just saying. 26 questions. But last week we did 26 questions and every answer was a different letter from the alphabet. So you could only have one answer beginning with B, one with C, etc. Nothing repetitive. So this week we've done the questions A to Z, and every answer is an answer between 1 and 26. And it's difficult, but you can work it out. 23, I think, Luke FPL Irons is a great score. Here we go. Let the carnage begin at White Hart Lane. Substitutions. Strong start by this weakened Spurs side, but now they make 2 early changes. Stephen Clements is injured and is replaced by Ben Bodic, while Richard Johnson, clearly tired after his Australian travails, is also off for Chris Armstrong. That's big. I think for Salakovic, Bodic can play centre-half, I think. Multifunctional player, if I remember correctly as a kid. Probably can play centre-half. Armstrong obviously will play up front. I guess it could play as a right wing-back. Yeah, it could be that Thatcher's gone to centre-half as well. But yeah, you'd have serious question marks about where Salakovic is playing now. Definitely. Woodwork's been hit at Stadium Alike. Gary Till is determined to show his new manager and the guys that left the league and left him out of his team that he's going to do some damage. He's determined to show his new manager, whoever that may be, that he should be starting. He gets on the end of Danny Mills' cross, but his header hits the bar. Carboni has been booked for tripping Till as well. He's on fire. A goal, and he's going to be hitting the bonus there as well, Gary Till. Ian Davis saying Taggart players cost him Collins points. FPL Sergeant Hard didn't look at the picture. I just thought of Harry Redknapp when they said shifty looking bloke. I look at Mourinho every other week. FBL Chancellor, Shreve's default look was shifty. It's very true, Dan. Brian Yule was hoping for Big Ron. Racist. Did he do a documentary about the fact that he wasn't racist after he blatantly said it about Marcel Desailly on the commentary when he forgot his mic was on? We should do a pod about that. Alright, I've decided, guys. There's too many comments to catch up on, basically. But lots of stuff in there in terms of Johnson, Boxic, people being happy and stuff like that. So I'm going to go live on the chat now. So I'll cover your comments as and when they come in. Otherwise, I'm just going to be behind all night. And just as a reminder, remember that you are 30 seconds behind tonight. This stream is on a 30-second delay. No major updates from those European games, is there? Which is interesting. Also reclusive, only Redbrough was on the bench yet, isn't it? Just the truth. He would be on now. Yes, he absolutely would be on. Woodwork's been hit at Pride Park, but before that, it's been a goal at Villa Park. Bosco Balaban is the goal scorer for Villa. Assist goes to George Boateng. As I said, Woodwork's been hit at Derby. Derby close to a lead. O'Neill plays the ball over the top. Daryl Pole gets a right-footed shot away on the volley, and the ball bounces off the bar and back out. Derby pushing a bit more now. Still some clean sheets knocking about tonight. Obviously, Villa have very quickly turned around that deficit against Southampton, who I think defensively are in huge trouble at the moment. Right, let's get in the chat. Let's have some fun, guys. Scarlett is playing has to wait for Blatsis anyway. Is he Australian or American or something? I mean, what's he doing playing? FBL Badger met Big Ron last year at Morecambe Grimsby. We went the day before we played Wigan away and he was in the boozer. Was he a racist? Danny's saying, please no more leaks. I can't take the pain. And Woodwork's been hit again at Pride Park. Now Oranio hits the bar. Powell, the creator this time, putting the ball into the far post where Oranio stretches to send the ball up against the bar from a tight angle. On the Balaban goal, Villa lead. George Boateng finds himself with the ball out wide and decides to pump the ball into the box. It's perfectly weighted. A perfectly weighted pump. Someone gift that. It's perfectly weighted though, and Balaban rises above Delap to head past Paul Jones. A quick turnaround for Villa. Fuck me. Stuff that comes out of my mouth. FBL Blade. Alex, well, that's going to be a depressing 30 minutes. Lol. Obviously having a chat with, I think, Vinyl Rishi in there in the chat. Everything is said. So, okay, so just now live, fair play, James. Thought it was an issue. Now, no issue, mate. I just thought as there's less games tonight, I'd try and catch up with the chat and then I'd have flicked with you. And I realised I'd never catch up, basically. That's because you people make this chat come alive. Well done, all of you. Akinori Nishizawa and Gareth Southgate have got involved in something off the ball here. I didn't see exactly what, but the referee is getting involved to split them up. Oh, and it's a red card. I mean, it just wouldn't be a night for me without one of my centre-halves getting sent off, would it? And now, I don't know if it's 2 red cards or 1 red card at this moment. But it's certainly at least one of Akinori Nishizawa or Gareth Southgate, or both, have been sent off. I'll await further details on that and confirm for you as soon as I have it. FPL Hitman says he should have transferred in Woodwork and captained him. Whatever makes you happy. If you want to transfer in Woodwork, transfer in Woodwork. Stick it in you. Stick the Woodwork in, mate. Ian Davis says, is Aurea worse at social distancing or defending? That's a tough call. I imagine social distancing. Gareth Southgate owners. It's good news. Red card is for Nishizawa. Just seen the replays. Nishizawa goes head to head with Southgate and then gives him a little headbutt. Wouldn't be a game without headbutt, would it? You can't do that. It's silly from the Japanese striker, and it's a long way back for Bolton with 10 men. Probably unlikely to make any changes, Bolton, as he was one of their starting. Look, someone's in. That's because I mentioned about Woodwork, right? Just mute the prick in the chat, right? Very simple. Just get hold of him and mute him. All over it, isn't he? Remove. He likes all that, doesn't he? Goal at Villa Park. Villa have a third. Dion Dublin, the goal scorer. No assister. Yeah, I see it, guys. It's just some little spam fucking robot thing. It's been reported. Not a problem. So it's interesting, isn't it, when you get loads of people who just like say something over and over. You remember when you was a kid and you used to pretend you hated a girl and really because you fancied the shit out of her. This is what it was. I reckon everybody should just put in the chat now. Sex. Just everybody do it. Oh dear. What's a bell end? I've hit him anyway. Second goal at the Stadium of Light for Sunderland. Michael Reddy, the goal scorer, and Gary Till has the assist. 2-0 Sunderland. Is that Till both assists? I can't remember if he got the first one or not. It's passed me by, but I'm going to double check on that. No, he scored the first goal, didn't he? Obviously, Lislandis was the assist on the first one. Goal and assist for Gary Till. Playing very well. I absolutely love it. Everybody's just writing sex in the chat. FPL Sergeant's written Shex. Billy Hadaway's put 6. Alright, we probably stop now, guys. We might get seriously proper spammed rather than just one dickhead. FPL Bricky says, what's sex? Andrew Martin says, I can't put sex in chat because I have it only in 2020. Oh, Andy. Information on the Dion Dublin goal first. Villa, cracking strike by Dion Dublin. Draper handballs and Villa get a free kick. It's all of 30 yards out, but Dion Dublin bends it past the wall and beyond Jones' reach. Kenny Dalglish looks delighted on the sidelines. And on the Reddy goal for Sunderland, another great goal, more fantastic play by Gary Till. He turns on the ball, beats a man and plays into Reddy. Young Englishman does brilliantly himself, beating Melchior before rifling in a wonderful dipping shot. Melchior owners, you can cuss him now for not putting in a tackle as well. So I can't see this fella anymore because I've blocked him and muted him. I don't know if he's been thrown out or not, but obviously if he's still lurking about, just everybody mute the prick for fuck's sake. FPL Chancellor says, sex is on fire. Andy Martin's terrified. Sex is on fire. Andy Martin's terrified. Andy Baines says he's married. Goal at White Hart Lane. I don't fucking care because we won last night. Thomas Wazicki is the goal scorer for Everton. Assist goes to Duncan Ferguson. Tottenham's clean sheet is gone, but I think those with particularly Casey Keller probably don't give a shit because you got unexpected points last night. Thomas Wazicki, the goal scorer, Duncan Ferguson with the assist for Everton, which It comes as no surprise with that ridiculous team that Tottenham have put on the pitch tonight. Seriously. James Wood says, get to Boscombe, Andy Martin. I can relate to that, James. Yeah, that Boscombe's no problem. Fees are cheap as well. FPL captain might need to get some moderation. Go on then, moderate it. Danny saying, yeah, he's gone. Yeah, they soon get bored. They don't get the attention or whatnot. Everton lead against the run of play, though, at White Hart Lane. Duncan Ferguson finds himself out wide and ends up crossing him for Radzinski, who takes a couple of touches and sets himself for a half volley, which flies past Keller. Everton will dig in now. Difficult side to break down, generally speaking, Everton as well. So, could be a tough hour or so to go for Spurs. Brian Yule says, Casey, you betrayed me. Jack Tasker, pull your finger out, Scowcroft. Have we had any updates from Blackburn? It's only 6 fucking games. Patrick Lawson's not happy with the bonuses he got last night from Keller. He is Keller heartbroken. Billy Hadaway, if you were all talking about sex, you might have missed the Villa goal, but they lead 3-1. I did talk you through it. Dion Dublin got it. Andrew Martin says he'll catch something just right in Boscombe. An update for you in the UEFA Cup. Ipswich are now 2-0 down on aggregate in Portugal against Porto. Alenichev is the goal scorer for Porto on the night, putting him 1-0 up, 2-0 on aggregate. Porto absolutely outplaying Ipswich here, and now they lead. Alenichev has the ball outside the box and he curls beautifully past Matteo Sereni. Ipswich have to win the game. Any Ipswich win would take them through now. Hitman said Leicester's still playing. Liam H, best memory of Keller. Generally, truthfully, when he saved the shot from Stefan Everson in the 1999 Worthington Cup final when it popped up and Alan Nilsson scored. That's my best memory of Casey Keller, was him not pushing the ball out properly when he was in goal for Leicester against Spurs. I've said this before. He used to do my head in when he kicked it. Like, he'd be so low down. He used to have a really... Just go on YouTube, like some Casey Keller. Go and look at a clip of him kicking the ball. It's awkward. You wouldn't teach a 5-year-old to kick a football like that. It's so weird. He used to give me kittens every time he was at his feet. Very good agility, reactions in and around. He wasn't obviously the tallest. He did okay for a year or two. Did okay. I wasn't comfortable with him at all. I much preferred... Neil Sullivan regressed after a very good first season for Spurs. Very good first season he had for Spurs. In 99, 2000, 2001, his form dips a little bit. And then he found himself out the team in 01, 02, and then he was gone. It's like his career was basically finished. You might remember he turned up as a backup at Chelsea and ended up playing in a game which Arsenal won in the year they went unbeaten. His career just disappeared. He ended up as a bit of a fatty at Doncaster Rovers, if I remember correctly. Someone will correct me if that's wrong, but I think it's right. Goal at Ewood Park. We have an update. David Dunn is the goal scorer. Assist for Corrado Grabby. Leicester's clean sheet gone. Dunn the scorer. Grabby the assist. Blackburn lead Leicester. Were they the team that we were meant to target this double game week? Was it really Blackburn? Oh, dear. Good beer. James Pompey-Uganda said, let's talk about... Baby, sing it. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about clean sheet wipeouts. Yeah. Pete Squires asking for, was it a Mario Jardel assist for Porto? I don't have the information on the assist, but I can tell you the assister at Pride Park for the third goal of the game there is Adam Murray. Craig Burley is the goal scorer. Derby County have come from behind and now lead Charlton Athletic by 2-1. Derby 2, Charlton 1. Obviously with that Blackburn goal this evening, clean sheets remain only for Blackburn, Middlesbrough and Sunderland. Is Emerson Tome going to be the secret hero of this double game week? I'm going to be honest, I would much prefer Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank goal as captain than an Emerson Tome clean sheet. Yeah. Gary Shepherd says, James, best at keep up, Suj or Keller all day long. Did you see that video our friend Paddy at the Fancy King 2 put together? See Suj doing his Morris dancing. Fucking idiot. Suj is in the chat. He's not, but that's just for your lads playing a drinking game, potentially. Oh, excuse me. Ash, who's wildcarding this weekend? I think anybody that wasn't on a free hit. It was one of my things as well. I don't want to be with these players come game week 16. How do you feel about these players in your free hit team and stuff, or that you built to these guys? How are you going to feel about them going to game week 16 right now? Shit, isn't it? It was a 1 week punt. I hope they do the business, and they're not, right? They're not. I mean, my only returners so far this game week are Southgate, Fester and Tome. And they're potentially all on for a clean sheet again. That's it. I'm nearly 3 halves of football in and haven't had an attack in return. Information on that Dunn goal. Maybe David Dunn was the correct double game week player of choice. Said some shit similar. 2 guys sends in a nice cross. Grabby knocks it towards Dunn and the stocky midfielder volleys it past Tim Flowers. Lovely strike. Blackburn absolutely deserve the lead. I've got an update for you for Liverpool in the UEFA Cup. And it's bad news. They are 1-0 down. Drew the first leg 0-0 at home to the excellent Deportivo La Coruña. And now trail 1-0 to a name that the nostalgics will love. Diego Tristan is the goal scorer for Deportivo La Coruña in Riazor. Is it the stadium name? Tried to be clever there and then I forgot. Great play from ex-Borough man Emerson, who squares for Diego Tristan, who taps into the open goal. Liverpool need to score now. Yes, it's worth saying that any equaliser for Liverpool would put them ahead on away goals in that tie. On the Craig Burley goal at Pride Park, Adam Murray plays a 1-2 with Darryl Powell and advances before putting a perfect crossing for Craig Burley. Why are you doing that, man? Loads of tweets coming through. No goals that are important. Actually, there's one that will make me laugh anyway. Puts in a perfect cross for Craig Burley, who meets the ball perfectly to head Derby in front. Lovely goal. Let's tell you about the goal that's making me laugh. Arsenal were behind in Greece to Olympiacos. Probably match-fixing riddled Olympiacos. Goal scorer is Christian Karambo, obviously of Middlesbrough in later days. Arsenal have been struggling tonight and now they trail. Karambo meeting Qantas's cross to head home. Bloody hell, I'm glad I wasn't drunk when I said that. UEFA Champions League goal update. I think it's UEFA Cup. Leeds in UEFA Cup, isn't they? Rather than Champions League. Leeds is game of UEFA Cup game, I'm sure. Anyway, Milan are now level on terms. Boban with Milan's second goal. Zvonimir Boban. Milan level up the tie. 2-2 on aggregate. Umir Dvala. I'll cut in there because more important goal back in the Premier League. Sean Bartlett has equalised for Charlton. Assist for Klaus Jensen. 4.5 million midfielder. Why would you look elsewhere? Why would you be a dickhead and leave him on the bench? James. Bartlett goal. Jensen assist. 2-2 at Pride Park. As I was saying in the San Siro, Milan level up the tie. Umit Davala puts the ball into the box and Boban controls and finishes past Nigel Martin. Long second half to come for Leeds. You feel they're going to need to score if they're going to go through. That, as it stands, of course, would be heading towards extra time. Ram says, you know the free hit players will come good next game week, James. Standard. Yep. Andrew Martin says Borough v United will be huge next week in game week 17. I will tell you now, and a lot can change, that as it stands, I will be triple captaining Ruud van Nistelrooy in game week 17. Charlton managed to sneak an equaliser just before half-time against the run of play. Jensen gets the ball under control and shows his class to play a perfect ball in for Bartlett, and he heads clinically past Poom. Perfect timing. Robbie Fowler for me is dangerous this week, although incredible fixtures. You could barely ask for better. Derby at home, Fulham at home. But 3-day turnaround from Liverpool's game in Deportivo to that first game against Derby on the Sunday and then the Wednesday game against Fulham. makes me nervous enough, and Liverpool just aren't playing well. Do you know what? Van Nistelrooy, triple captain, and fuck it, even if he gets rotated in one of them, he could still kill it for me. Leicester at home, I remember a low reputation Middlesbrough. Yes, there's a high possibility that he will get rotated. However, we also know this. Middlesbrough will play 4-4-2. Leicester are highly likely to play 3-5-2. 4-4-2 as well. Goals are flying in at Pride Park. Malcolm Christie has Derby County back in head. Stefano Aranio with the assist as we approach injury time in the first half. Well done, FPL captain on the graphics, getting that clock locked at 45 minutes. Christie with a goal, Aranio with the assist, 3-2 to Derby. Pete Squires says, get the scout to Anfield. You never know. You never know. I mean, I don't suppose they're going to leave the league too long with the quick turnaround of what could potentially happen. There's not going to be a lot of time to make decisions on your transfer and stuff, so I wouldn't expect that leak's either going to... I wouldn't be surprised to get a leak from the scout tonight. Wouldn't be surprised at all, genuinely. Bill Halliway, Boban was class. Chris Hermitage, Jensen on my bench too. Even more painful when Svensson goes off before 60. Yeah, class Jensen, bang. Gary Shepherd, Karamboo, my favourite footballing cheese. Derby retake the lead before half-time. What a first half it's been here. It's another header from across, which has been the pattern of this game. And most games, if you ask, disable. Iranio swings in a deep cross for Christie, who powers his header home. Wasn't the biggest Christie, but he certainly scored a header there. Vinyl Richie says, bench boost, game week 16, triple captain, game week 17. Chips are flying. Yep, there's more to come in these next couple of game weeks. Nivs Godfrey said, who scored for Derby? Missed it. Get yourself bottom of the screen, it will come back round. But Christie's got that third goal for Derby there, Nice. Brendan Davis says, maybe it's Heskey we need to look at. Could well be. Cheap as price. They're all dangerous. Look, Fowler, Heskey, Littmanen. It's dangerous. Whatever it is, it's dangerous. I've got Fowler in my squad. If he comes through unscathed tonight, he's my captain. Half times confirmed. Villa lead Southampton 3-1. Blackburn 1-0 up against Leicester. The team from the Riverside, Middlesbrough, lead Bolton by a goal to 0. Derby lead Charlton 3-2. Bit of a thriller at Pride Park. Chelsea. It's blowing up for them, and I think it might be blowing up full-time permanently for Claudio Ranieri. They are 2-0 down against Sunderland. Everton lead 1-0 against an understrength Tottenham at White Hart Lane. I'm not making excuses. I had enough of that from Gooners last night. Talking of which, they trail 1-0 Olympiacos in their second group stage match in the Champions League. Manchester United and Lazio remains goalless. Liverpool 1-0 down on aggregate, trail 1-0 on the night in Deportivo. Milan have brought back their 2-goal deficit against Leeds in the San Siro. It's 2-2 on aggregate in that UEFA Cup tie. Newcastle and Ajax remains 0-0 on the night. Ajax lead 3-0 on aggregate. And Ipswich also have it all to do in Portugal. They trail Porto 1-0 on the night, 2-2 on aggregate. Now, allow me, if I may, guys. The one thing that isn't out anywhere is a confirmed full schedule for Saturday's 24-hour Planet FPL stream. I am now going to take you through the whole schedule from 6 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the morning. If you have no interest in our attempts to raise money for NHS Charities, feel free to disappear for 10 minutes. If you love us, stay. So, we will start with obviously an intro, 6 o'clock in the morning. We're going to be half dead on the coffee. Just going to do a little bit about obviously the charity we're supporting, and we'll kind of repeat the schedule that I'm doing now. I'll be very honest with you. It's just for new people, obviously perhaps not in the stream, won't be aware, just to say what's going to be available obviously at the start of the video, because for example, should you want to tune into whoever's in at 6 p.m, a couple of days later, you need to go to hour 12. So we need to kind of explain this sort of thing. So at 6 o'clock in the morning, we'll just be running through what we're doing charity-wise, supporting NHS Charities Together, and going through our schedule together again. At 6:30 a.m, we will welcome any questions on our release of Patreon. Obviously, we did a podcast without questions in advance for what we were doing. We will happily, and that's, I must say, like, to everybody who's given feedback, thank you so much, because I've had one negative comment since Tuesday afternoon, which, considering we're trying to put the term money into things, I find staggering and incredible. And I'm just grateful that people are being nice about it, whether people want to sign up or not. Those that have signed up, obviously a special thank you. But for me, more like to thank you for the support. Even if you can't commit or whatever, we really appreciate. So we're working some questions on that. First guest of the day will be on at 7 o'clock in the morning. That's our friend Stefan White, who you can follow at Stefan RW from Beer Nuts UK. Has been offering loads of packages to people. I think they've even been shipping overseas care packages to many members of the FPL community. Steph's going to be coming on in the morning with us. He's a Man United fan, so we might get some Man United stuff from him. But mainly we'll be asking him in terms of what's his experience in the community at the moment. How has he helped grow in the business? It's growing. It's a kind of a community-driven business. They're obviously doing very well for themselves by themselves, but the community's helping support that at the moment. I've met Steph a couple of times. He's a lovely lad, and those who join him will love to hear from him. 7:30 a.m. It's kind of a bit of an unplanned bit. We're going to look at all the upcoming headlines in football at the moment, whether it be a look at updated stories via the internet or newspapers online, etc. Just to see what the morning headlines is, because we've not got anything specific that's kind of be current news, if you will. So we're going to have a look at whatever the main headline stories are. We'll do that for half hour at 7:30. 8 o'clock in the morning, quiz buffs. Our friend Tom Campbell at Utley TC will be joining us for a Premier League quiz, which I know is going to be 24 questions, based on the fact it's a 24-hour stream. And Tom has told me, and I don't know anything more than this, that there will be one question representing each of the last 24 seasons. I think it's generally going to be Premier League related, I should imagine, but don't quote me on that. But that's available from 8 o'clock in the morning, and we'll leave that space open for Tom for the full hour. 9 o'clock in the morning, we've got John, FPL coach. You may have seen him in the chat many times over. We're going to get him on. He's obviously playing chat, man. He's a very experienced FPL community member. He's been around on Twitter for a good 7 years or so. He's got a very sizable following. He's got more followers than myself, for example. He's a Coventry City fan at the moment as well, so I'm really keen to get his thoughts in terms of what's happening in League One. Coventry City, should the season be voided, are highly likely to be promoted. How does he feel about that? Coventry, as many of you know will as well, are playing outside of Coventry this season. They're playing at St Andrews, Birmingham City's home stadium. So are they about to go in the Championship despite being homeless? And we'll obviously talk some FPL stuff with Coach as well. 9:30 a.m. We're going to liven the mood a little bit as well. Suj and I are going to be playing headbands for a little while. You know that shit where you flick stuff up and I've got to read it to him and he's got to read it to me. Has to perk us up a bit. 9:30 we'll be doing that. I think we'll probably do it all football related and it should be funny. We're doing that for half hour. We've got a few games planned. That's one of them at 9:30. Then we've got a series of guests coming on for half hour and then more at 12 o'clock as well. From 10 o'clock, I've got 3 of my correspondents coming on in a row, but we're not going to be focusing so much on their clubs. We've got our Southampton correspondent, FPL Gaffer, Ali. He's coming on at 10 o'clock, and what we're going to do with Ali is we're going to talk quite a bit about esports, about FIFA, for example, because Ali's been launching his own channel and his own FIFA videos and that. So I want to get into understanding what the mindset is for FIFA, how it works. I used to play FIFA regularly, but I haven't played for about 4 years or so. Suj, I shouldn't think has ever played, but he's about to find out really soon, if his kids are into football, that his kids are going to want to play FIFA. So we're going to look at that from a few different angles. We'll talk a bit of Saints as well. Ali's also got a bit of affinity for Rangers, so I might ask him a little bit about the Scottish Premier League as well. We've got Bradley Parker, our Wolves correspondent, coming in on at 10:30 in the morning. We'll talk about a little bit about Wolves with Bradley. Bradley's a really interesting one to talk to because I haven't spoke to anybody in the last 2 months or so that's missing football more than Bradley. He's properly gutted. He normally goes, he's a season ticket holder at Wolves, normally goes with his uncle. It's quite a personal thing for him, and I think he's missing that experience of the day as much as the football as such as well. He's really missing it, and we're going to be open and honest about, because me and Suj have kind of shot the whole thing down a little bit in terms of Not missing it, and it's partly because of this game as well that we feel like we're just cracking on with life, etc. Bradley's missing the football. He's going to come on and be honest about it, and I think it will be a really interesting conversation. Like, what is it like missing football? And I do miss football, but I realise there's more important things at the moment. So does Bradley, by the way, but he is really missing it, and we're just going to talk about missing football a bit. We got King of the Puns at 3-5, who are Arsenal correspondents, coming on for half hour at 11 o'clock. We're going to do a bit of talk about Arsenal, obviously, but we're actually going to focus on London clubs in general. What do we see as a future for Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, a bit of West Ham, a bit of Crystal Palace as well. May even touch on some of the London clubs outside the Premier League as well. So that's what we'll be doing with Adam. 12 o'clock, we have an hour of call-ins. You cannot call in for this hour. I can't tell you the names coming on, but it is a who's who of FPL royalty. There will be 8 guests on in an hour. You might get lucky if you see something on their timelines, but I'm not going to share it. I'm trying to keep it a mystery. We've got 8 people coming on in the space of an hour. They're all going to come on for like a 7-minute period. Hello, how are you? What you doing? They're just doing it in support of us to give a bit of their time for us. And it's FPL royalty coming on in that hour. At 1 o'clock, we've got someone I've been wanting to collab with for a very long time, Steve from Elite FPL. He's a big fan of us, and I'm really in support of them. They've done some amazing things on YouTube this year. Steve-O and Jason are doing their own videos on virtual FPL at the moment. Every time I log on to Elite FPL's channel, they seem to be talking about us. So I want to ask him why. And I want to ask him how they've grown a YouTube channel so quickly. They do amazing things with their own graphics as well. So we get Steve-O on to talk about that for half hour. At 1:30, we will be opening a call-in session for anybody. It will last over a half hour, but it could last a full hour up until 2:30. Anybody can call in. It will be call in via Zoom, and Suj has got to let you in. That's it. And Suj, as you know, he's not in the clue as much as I am, so he's going to let any dickhead in probably, and it will go wrong. But call in. There's 2 more further call-in sessions I'll take you through, but the first one's 1:30 till at least 2, but probably 2:30. Then obviously from 2:30, Champman FPL Live, Game Week 16. It will be a different setup. Graphics, etc. is going to be exactly the same, but you are going to have Suj in one chair, me in another, and we're going to do it together. Some of you have got so used to this, I imagine generally that you're not going to like it. But we're going to do it this week. We're going to do it together. I don't know at which point I'm going to want to let Suj speak, but I will. That's going to last to 5 o'clock. And as soon as our man turns the scores red, he's going to call in. FPL captain, our friend Chris, he's going to call in at 5 o'clock. I'm going to take you through the bonus points. As soon as I finish, Chris is going to pop in to the stream at 5 o'clock. I really want the guys to meet you, meet Chris, because you'll love him. He's such a genuine, he won't, you'll fucking hate me saying this. He's such a genuine, down-to-earth guy. And I knew the first time that he messaged me and wanted to help, that I knew he was the right person for me to let help. We obviously want to thank him. I'm sure many of you want to thank him. And I want to introduce him properly to you in the community. So we'll do half hour with Chris. At 5:30, I've got my friend Shamil, a friend of the show, Sham, from FPL 2 Guys 1 Cup. He's going to be coming on for half hour. We're going to go quite deep a little bit on gambling. Sham will honestly, hand on heart, say he's had some difficult experiences with gambling. He's going to come on and share some of his experience and hopefully offer some advice that may help some of you, which particularly in this period you may be struggling with issues or might have had gambling issues in the past or prevent you from having them in the future. Sham's going to come on and really be open and honest about that. He's a West Ham fan, so I'll no doubt rip the shit out of him and Suj as well. 6 o'clock is the second call-in hours from 6 till 7. Same, Zoom in, call in. 7 o'clock, we've got Nymphria coming on. FPL Nymfam, hashtag. She's going to be coming on. We're going to be talking to her about her experience as how she, as an independent woman, managed to grow a really successful YouTube channel. She's obviously doing great work in the community with the Wildcats at the moment. They're still doing regular videos in terms of games and quizzes. I was on a quiz they did about 3 or 4 weeks ago, which I thoroughly enjoyed. So I want to give Nim a little bit of time back to promote her channel, the Wildcats channel as well. For the first time ever at 7:30 p.m, a friend of mine will be coming on the show. My friend Emma Story. I say my friend, she's a friend of the wife, but she's a massive Spurs fan, so she's more my friend than her friend now anyway. Fucking bird. She lives in Germany at the moment. Now you think I'm mad. She flies back to London for nearly every single Spurs home game. We're going to be talking about what that experience is like for her. How is it for her regularly as a woman who travels independently and joins mates as a independent woman again? How is it as a modern day football fan? How has it changed for her? Because she's been going for a very long time, Emma. So I'm keen to ask her if she's seen positive change in fandom for women going to football. And she can obviously give us updates from the Bundesliga as well. She's regularly been going to Dortmund this year. So she might be able to help out with a little bit of Bundesliga fantasy, which me and Suj have said we obviously can't really cover properly. Before I do the rest of the schedule, second half was finished. Looks like many players have 45 minutes left to salvage their double game weeks, while those doing will want to get further ahead. Meanwhile, the English sides in Europe will be desperate for a second half better than the first. We'll obviously talk a bit of Spurs with Emma as well. That's going to be a great one. Following Emma at 8 o'clock, we got our friend Dave, Simple Goal FPL's coming on. Talk some champ, man. James Alappin's on at 8:30 as well. We'll talk about, I think we might talk about how his Thursday night was when this game week finished. We get them guys on. We'll talk obviously various champ man stuff for an hour with those two boys. 9 o'clock, anybody who regularly listens to the podcast, got an update from Spain for you. Diego Tristan scored again for Deportivo. Liverpool now need 2 to go through in the UEFA Cup. 2-0, Liverpool heading out. Fran finds Diego Tristan. He beats Biscan before finishing well. Friend of the podcast, Amber Redmond, is going to send us in some questions. I've been joking on our podcast for ages that Amber sends in the best questions. At 8:59, she is going to DM me with 5 questions for me and Suj to go through. I have no idea what they're going to be or what they're going to be about. They are normally difficult questions to answer, as in they put you on the spot. So Amber's going to send them questions into me a minute before 9, and then at 9 o'clock we're going to cover them. Just have a little bit of a break from the guests as well. 9:30 p.m. got a Norwich correspondent, FPL Badger, who you'll see in the chat, Mark. Mark's going to come. Obviously, going to talk a little bit about Norwich. We might even know by Saturday if what's happening with Norwich. Are they going down? Is relegation going to happen? Mark's well travelled. He's been to a lot of away grounds. So we thought we'd spend a bit of time talking about best away trips, etc. I'll try not to mention Amsterdam. Then at 10 o'clock, we got Dan, FPL Loci Lord, coming on. Now, me and Suj, because we're doing this consistently, are going to be very much out of touch. And I said, in the morning, we're going to do a little bit newsworthy. But we're not going to really have our eyes in terms of what's happening outside world. So at 10 o'clock, it's news time. Dan is going to bring us any kind of major news stories for the day so we can discuss that. And obviously, he's our Liverpool correspondent. We are going to talk about the current status at the top of the Premier League with Liverpool, etc. Get his feelings on that. I think Dan's been taking quite a bit of a break from Twitter, so I'm keen to ask him why he's done that as well. And it's absolutely fine that he's done that. Different people doing different things at the moment. Following Dan, we've got Gary Robinson, who you'll know in the chat. He's coming on at 10:30. That is my cap plan. I'm just going to cut in there because Leeds are 3-0 down in Milan. Looks like all the English clubs are going out here. Penalty converted by Umit Davala. Milan take the lead on aggregate. Boban goes down under challenge for Olivier Decourt. And John McDermott points to the spot. It's a very dubious decision, but Umit Davala doesn't care. He steps up and fires the penalty home. Leeds are in trouble. Obviously, bear in mind, though, they're 3-2 down on aggregate. 1 goal would take them through on away goals, but it looks like Milan are completely dominating. Gary's coming on at 10:30, and what we've decided to do, we're not doing anything that's kind of people's poll-ish, etc. So we've related it to time as well a little bit. I kind of hinted at this on the stream last week. It's coming on at 10:30, so we're going to go up against Match of the Day. Fuck it. We're going to do something slightly different. Me and Gary are both going to pick our top 10 favourite FA Cup goals, bearing in mind that Saturday would have been FA Cup final day, and as a community I should have been watching it with many of you together at Planet FPL Live 4. So we're going to do something FA Cup themed. There's nothing else during the day that's on that. Me and Gary are going to pick our top 10 FA Cup goals of all time, and we're going to argue the toss. I don't know what he's going to pick. He doesn't know what I'm going to pick. We could come up with exactly the same thing. Suj, I think, is just going to fucking moderate because he can't remember further than 2 weeks ago, mate. I ask him to name his top 10 goals. He won't get further back than 2017. He might do it. Then at 11 o'clock, we're going to have some fun. We're going to get the flip chart out, and me and Suj are going to play Pictionary. We hope many of you will join in on that as well. It will kind of be a me versus Suj, but help each other. And obviously you guys can join in as well. If I'm opening first can at 2:30 and I can't draw, wait to see what I'm going to look like at 11 o'clock at night. Going to be, I can't draw as well. It's going to be a mess, but it should be a barrel last for an hour. I just cut in there to say substitutions to tell you about at the Reebok. Blow for Middlesbrough here as Paul Ince is forced off with an injury. They shuffled a pack with Windass also coming off. Ocon and Noel Whelan are on. Bolton have also made a change. The ineffective Rod Wallace is replaced by Bo Hansen. Clean sheet. Beginning to look an interesting prospect here for Middlesbrough again. After Pictionary, we go back to some more FPL royalty. We've got two big guests lined up after that. At 12 PM, King of YouTube, Andy from Let's Talk FPL is joining us. We're going to be finding out what's been going on with him. He's obviously been doing the scout vids with Luke Disables. We'll talk a bit about that. He's been doing his Football Manager YouTube streams as well, so I'm going to ask him about that. He's been trying to take Manchester United back to glory. That will take some doing. And we're going to talk about England a bit as well, which is something Andy suggested a little while ago to debate. You know, what is England's best 11 at the moment? So we're going to have a bit of chat about some England stuff as well. 1 o'clock, we've got a good friend of the show, a lovely guy, Tom Candle from Who Got the Assist, is going to be joining us at 1 o'clock in the morning. He might bring a quiz, but it's probably more a case that I want to ask Tom in terms of what he's been doing, what made him and Nick decide to get Stag on board. They're now obviously working as a trio. I genuinely have not listened to the Sunderland podcast that they've been doing. Tom knows I'm a religious listener to Who Got the Assist, but I haven't listened to the Sunderland podcast, and I haven't seen any of the footage either. So I personally would be keen to ask him what's been going on there with Sunderland and learn some stuff for myself. Tom at 1 o'clock in the morning could be an absolute car crash. It's going to be bants, essentially. 2 o'clock in the morning, Suj and I are going to attempt to play Articulate. This is going to be like headbands, but expanded. Who can win the race to the finish line first? Obviously, with Articulate as opposed to headbands, we can do it more on general knowledge questions. And I think what will be fascinating about this is not just the fact that we'll both be pissed, but the fact that Suj is an extremely intelligent man. You probably know that I am not. So this could go a number of ways at 2 o'clock in the morning. At 3 o'clock, our friend Sion, our Newcastle's correspondent, FPL footballer, is going to be joining us. We're going to be talking Newcastle takeover. Is it happening? Isn't it happening? Sion's actually living in California at the moment. He'd gone out there to go travelling for a few months, and obviously he's basically stuck there. I think he's quite happy to be out there, in fairness. He's doing fine. So we're going to talk about his experiences in America a little bit. We're obviously going to talk Newcastle. We're not going to make too many plans at that hour of the night because me and Suj are going to be struggling at this stage. Goal update for Gooners in the Champions League. And it's bad news. Olympiacos lead 2-0. Giovanni, the goal scorer. Arsenal in deeper problems now. Giovanni gets on the end of Patastoglu's cross, go me, with a diving header which beats Seaman. Gunners going down to defeat here in Piraeus, which obviously would be 2 defeats from 2 in the second stage of those groups. Tomo at FPL Blade, we're coming straight on after Sire at 3:30 AM. Big Sheffield United fan, we'll be talking about them Blades. We'll be talking a bit of Champ Man as well, because obviously Tomo's regularly playing. We'll ask him about Jason Yule. We'll talk some good stuff. At 4 o'clock, Suj and I are going to challenge each other for half hour with would you rather questions. This is going to be Amber Redmond's questions gone extreme, essentially. Would you rather? Yeah, half hour of that. I mean, God knows what we'll be thinking at 4 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, let's see what we can get out of each other. Goal at Villa Park, and it's an own goal. Ian Taylor, the scorer of the own goal. Assist goes to Southampton's Matt Oakley. Villa now lead 3-2 against Southampton. Southampton pull a goal back 55 minutes in there. Taylor own goal, Oakley assist. Our final guest will be Alex Waterbaby, Alex Ball, who's co-manager with Vinyl. Richie in the chat. He's in New Zealand and he's really offered to help us out at a dark hour. And what we're going to do with Alex to a little bit, we'll touch on Champman FPL. And just, I want to ask him particularly what it's like as a football fan and an FPL player being on the other side of the world. I think that'd be a really fascinating chat to have with him. And for the final hour at 5 AM, and this is going to be particularly for people in sort of America, the Oceania countries, etc., we're going to open the phone in again for the last hour. And if no one calls in, then me and Serge are just looking at a wall and chatting shit and surviving. But that's what we're going to do. That is the full schedule of Planet FPL 24. And right on cue, Spurs have equalised. Goal goes to Stefan Everson and the assister is Øyvind Leonardsen. Goal Everson, assist Leonardsen. Tottenham on terms against Everton. Sorry, I did go on a bit there, didn't I? Fuck me! But at least you know what the stream schedule is. And yeah, we'll tweet it all out, etc. The links to the charity are in my bio and in my pin tweet now. So help us. We're doing 24 hours and we didn't just want to do 24 hours of empty space. So we've packed it. That's the only way we know how. We can't do the ermine and the empty spacing. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm sure at points, you know, we're going to have to eat at some point. We're going to have to go to the toilet at some point. We're not going to both sit there completely stationary for 24 hours. It might be me for half hour. It might be Suj for half hour. But I would say for 90% of it, we'll be sitting there together and smashing it out. Information on that: Ian Taylor own goal after 55 minutes. Southampton back in it. Hendry gives away a free kick just outside the box and is booked. Matt Oakley just on from Mark Draper. Steps up. The free kick is wild, but Ian Taylor gets his head to it and diverts it past Peter Schmeichel. Thank you for those in the chat. I see Alex Ball's in the chat, says he can't wait. And anybody else, I'm sure I saw Tom Campbell's name pop up at some point as well. I'm sure our friend FPL Blades in. Thank you so much for all the guys that are going to be giving up their time. There's 22 guests that I've announced there. There are another 8 that are going to be joining us during that period of 12 to 1. I want to kind of keep that as a bit of a surprise because some of them names are... And it's not fair to say that they're announced that they're coming on for 7 minutes. We just had incredible demand from the community to want to help us out. And it kind of became, once people had times on that booked in, it kind of became first come, first served. And then afterwards it was like, oh my God, these people want to help us out and we can't put them in. And we didn't want to do 24 hours of just guests as well. So we're going to have, they're all content creators coming on in that hour, 12 to 1. Some amazing names. Everson with the equaliser for Spurs. They lead. They've actually struggled since going behind, but they're back in it now. Leonardson puts in an incredible cross, which puts it on a plate for Everson, who heads home. Watson and Rosicki have been replaced by Xavier and Kevin Campbell. Could be a blow there for Watson owners. You've just lost your clean sheet, and it's now a 1-pointer. Just over a minute till the hour mark. Obviously less games tonight, so I guess less news on the substitution front. Or are the guys going to absolutely stitch us up again? FPL Badger in the chat is obviously part of our stream at the weekend as well. Oh, here we go. Substitution at the Reebok. Borough make their final change of the night. Ah, yeah, fuck, man. Gareth Southgate coming off for Jonathan Green, and let's hope they don't suffer an injury in the next 35 minutes. So made their final change, 56 minutes this time. Fucking cost me. He's the one who's locked. He's nailed. Ah, you bastard. This is such a shit double, man. Ash says, what's the longest stream you've done? Saturday. Other than that, it's these. It's the Champ Man ones. We were doing, and hopefully we will do again in the future. We used to do a game a month where me and Suj would sit and watch a game and invite you lot, and they were quite popular actually. I felt the format could have been a lot better, but views wise very, very popular. I mean, we watched Wales and Hungary live. That was the game we chose. It was in October or November, and 5 minutes before we went to go live, the news broke that Pochettino had been sacked, and it had an insane amount of views. Substitutions at the stadium are light. Chelsea perhaps feeling the effect of 2 games in 3 days here. Stanic and Forsell off for Goodjohnson and Zola before 60. Chelsea haven't been great today, but they're still getting chances. The Black Cats are still on top, though. So I presume there, Carboni goes deeper. Zola behind Johnson and Hasselbank, you would think. Who played in midfield with Lampard? Morris, wasn't it? Could be Carboni at wing back. Is that possible? But yeah, the main three, Johnson, Zola and Hasselbank, all on the pitch now for Chelsea. And from that perspective, Zola owners, you're a point behind Hasselbank. Johnson owners, you're, I think, 2 points ahead of Hasselbank. I can't remember what the bonus was in that Bolton game. Might even be further ahead. Thank you very much, FPL Andy. Thank you very much for nice comments on the stream. Ipswich's European journey is coming to an end. Alenichev has scored again. Wonderful solo goal. And Ipswich's UEFA Cup journey is coming to an end. I just said that. It's a great individual goal by Alenichev, who beats 4 players before hammering home. A difficult night for the English clubs so far. That's obviously 3-0 on aggregate to Porto now. That will be all over for Ipswich. It looks like all of those UEFA Cup sides are going out, which, I'll be honest, I don't know the potential knock-on effect for future, doubles and the like in the future. But I presume them going out of Europe is not good news for that. And obviously Arsenal very much struggling in the Champions League as well, should they lose tonight. Lost at home to Roma, losing in Olympiacos as well. Liverpool are finished here. They're 3-0 down in Deportivo. Diego Tristan again. Liverpool definitely heading out now. Tristan completes his hat-trick, playing a 1-2 with Sergio before firing into the corner. Liverpool have replaced Danny Murphy with Rishi Partridge, and Igor Biscan is about to come off for Jamie Carragher. I don't think there's anything news-wise in those substitutions that aids people in their selections for double game week 16. Keen to know, guys. Very simple. Smash it in the chat now. Who, as of this moment, is your double... Yes, but it is a double game week, isn't it? Liverpool and Fulham have doubles. Who is your double game week 16 captain? Go. Who's your plan, anyway? Gary Shepherd saying, just had a thought. You should have had a section for the stream based on Richard Osman's game show, obviously called House of James. I don't think I've ever even watched it. Gary, I don't get much TV past fucking CBeebies these days, honestly. Andrew Martin confirmed the European break of Champions League and UEFA Cup is until February. FPL Bricky saying, come on, Gianfranco, this is your moment. Sunshine. Having a party tonight in Bedfordshire. Classy Bedfordshire. Thank you, Ian Davis. Rory, not sure Liverpool defenders are worth a transfer for double game experience. Let's do this. Heskimo, Hippier. Mac, Hippier. Dick Wellington, Marley Veron. James Pompey, Uganda, Fowler. Gary Smith, he ain't got a captain for double game week 16, but he's got 44. Joe Jenkins says Fowler. David Storm, Hippier. Jamie Gowans, Gordon. Is he alive? Rory says Rebroff, captain. Heavy Finger 7, Fowler. Woodwork has been hit at Ewood Park. Blackburn close to getting the second their dominance deserves. David Dunn puts the ball into the box for Marcus Bent, who volleys cleanly, but his strike bounces back off the bar. Leicester have just replaced Damien Delaney with Jordan Stewart. Joe Jenkins says Fowler. David Storm, Hippier. I did them ones, didn't I? Heavy Finger 7, Fowler. Alan Daddy Hegum. Badger says Fowler. Ryan says Rebra for Fowler. Bricky Hippier. Cal Fowler. Andy Fowler. Andrew Martin says Viduka, you dickhead. In his dead team that he can't change. Auto Recluse says God, which is Fowler. Mark Dorney, Henshaw. Stephen Hamilton, Fowler. Perry Allen says Steed. Cole Norbury, Fowler. Josh Woodbridge, Hippier. Luke Porteous, probably Fowler, mate. Scarla says Fowler. Blade says Mal Bronk. Late Riser 12, Heskey or Hippier. Sam Thomas, Fowler. Captain says Mal Bronk. Final Rishi, Hippier or Henshaw. Ali Jaffa, Hippier. Steve Jones says gotta be Teddy Sheringham. FPL Blade, Yule, Brad Lewandon, Dudek captain, I think. Gary Smith says Fester. Championship manager. Finally, we got a United nomination. Says Veron. I think that's James Alapron. That's probably a dead team as well. Richard T. Barmore going for it in the top 100. Brian New at the moment may be hippier, but probably just Van Nistelrooy or Veron. I had to go through a lot of comments to get there. Paul Tinkler says Lewis Boamorte. Tron Gerhard Sands got hippier, so I think I have to captain him. Chris Morgan Fowler, triple captain, going for it. Nice Godfrey says rude. Philium 2 won't be going near Liverpool players. Pete Squires, Fowler, but tempted by Marley. Baker, FPL 343. Big Steve. Philium 2, John Collins. Karan says Rebroff. So too does Georgie Farley. Mark Buchanan, Phillips next week. Fucking hell, you're not sick of him from this week. Rory Rebroff at home to West Ham after a nice rest today. He bangs, mate. Clean shit as if he gets the shirt back. Just trying to put that in your mind there, mate. Clean sheet, wipeout. Says possibly Heskey for me. Gary Shepherd, let me mourn game week 15 before thinking about 16. Aritraro says Fowler as well. Patrick Lawson says, who do you think are the best Liverpool options for this double game week? I've got Fowler, Gerrard, Hippier. I'm ready to go. That's what I'm going to have as long as they come through unscathed. I am going to captain Fowler. I don't like it. FPL Essential says rude. FPL Phil says Lislanders now. Stephen Hamilton, can't believe I have a single assist as my only attacking return. Bricky, just changed my mind. Stolzers, Water Recluse. Spurs was meant to jump Everton this week. What is happening? We made 7 fucking changes and put some kids out, mate. Gary Smith, hang on, you mean now or Saturday? Gary, you got some issues with days, pal. Why would I be asking you? Saturday, fam. Auto Recluse says he's on tilt, so down now. Late riser 12. Boxic injury incoming. In it. I don't know, blood. FPL Irons is going with Liverpool. Double Fulham for me. Stolson Malbronk will likely captain Ruud van Nistelrooy though. And an update from Old Trafford. This has been a tight affair between Manchester United and Lazio. Andy Cole is on for Dwight York, while Paul Scholes is about to replace Juan Sebastian Veron as United look for the breakthrough. 1 goal will be enough for either side here, you feel. Interesting. I'm absolutely not against Van Nistelrooy captains this weekend. Home to Chelsea. Fucking shocking away from home. I'm not against it in any way at all. Go for it. That's my feeling. If you want to, go for it. Right, we are obviously long past the hour mark. 67 minutes now. Villa still lead Southampton 3-2. Blackburn lead Leicester 1-0. Bolton obviously 10 men down to Middlesbrough. Took Gareth Southgate off just before the hour mark. Derby lead Charlton 3-2. Sunderland still lead Chelsea 2-0. Tottenham and Everton 1-1 after that Stephen Everson equaliser. So Blackburn, Middlesbrough, Sunderland still holding on to clean sheets. This could be back-to-back clean sheets for Middlesbrough and Sunderland. I'm hoping my Emerson Tome is going to... Oh my God! Sujan Shah is in the chat. Suj is in the chat. Suj is in the chat. Got lots of people saying hello. Dick, Wellington, Paul Coleman, Ryan, Jose Vargas, Scala, Baker, FPL 343, Gary Shepherd, Dots K Vlog, Clean Sheet, Wipeout, says hello. Liverpool have an away goal in Spain. Nick Barmby is the goal scorer. Liverpool back in with a shout. Maybe Rishi Partridge swings in a corner. And Barmby, all of 5'7" or something, heads home. Long way to go, but they have a chance. Lots of love for Serge in the chat. Serge, we got attacked by some guy who kept repetitively typing sex in the first half, just so you know. Other than that, I'm fine, mate. How are you? Serge has only 1 assist so far. Serge, there are 20 minutes to go of this game week. I don't have a single attack in return. Anybody else in that boat? It's got to be loads of you. Listen. Nothing is going to make me celebrate like I celebrated at 9:50 PM last night anyway. Auto Recluse, I missed your comment, but yeah, keep your chin up, man. It's a game, pal. Few of us are having a difficult period here in terms of the game. And DM's open. That goes for everybody. Anytime you need something, you can knock on my door. I'm available for everybody, especially at this difficult time. Heavy Finger 7, James, considering all the madness, what would you say is a good point score for this double game week? Oh my goodness. We've got to factor there's bench boosts out there. We know that. There's quite a few. But a lot of them are... Oh, man. Some of that rotation tonight. Jesus Christ. There'll be dead points, I guess. The way it's looking right now, I think average 65 to 70. I mean, that can change in the fight. I'm not joking. I think the average is going to look like just a very good single game week, I think, with 2 shit game weeks combined, basically. That's how it's going to look, I think, right now. I think 65, 70s. I'm not on that number. No chance. I've got like 1 clean sheet for Southgate, and as it stands now, I'm getting a clean sheet again for Fester and a clean sheet again for Emerson Tome. That's all I've got. Penalty appeal at the Reebok. I think Peter Jones has got this one wrong. Boxic plays in the lively Marinelli. He is bundled to floor by Anthony Barnes, but ref waves away the appeals. It looked nailed on. Bolton has just bought off Rob Lee for Paul Warhurst. Gary Smith says, how do I call in on Saturday? Gary, we can't wait for you to call in. It's going to be a call in via Zoom. And I'm going to put the links out, most probably on my Twitter. Alright? On my Twitter. You'll have a link, and then you can call in. And then it's up to Suj whether you get accepted or not. That I can't be responsible for. So if anybody wants to call in and can't get in and tries, we're sorry. It's Suj's fault. There will be 3 opportunities. 1:30 till 2:30. Excuse me, 6 till 7 o'clock. And for those from around the world, I'd especially love you to hang on for 5 till 6 a.m. in the morning. Anybody who's got to get up early and work on Sunday morning, please come and join us. Like, come and save us. Substitutions at Pride Park. Klaus Jensen has come off for Graham Stewart. And now Derby replaced Mwenni with Danio. It's been a much quieter second half here. Half chances and long shots mostly. I'd tell a lie. I've got 2 attacking returns this game week. Both for Klaus Jensen. He's on my fucking bench. Gary Shepherd says, I think after tonight's games, I'll hit last night's average. Max says, of course, could have been a Fester penalty, couldn't it? Of course. Jack Tasker says, top 300 average yesterday was like 37. Not going to go up much from that. You might be surprised. Double Middlesbrough clean sheet. Genuinely, you might be surprised. Quite a few are going to have Boxic. He's the one attacking player really that's returned. And there's 20 minutes to go. I think that's where the average will be at. Leicester are 2-0 down at Ewood Park. Matt Jansen has Blackburn second. He's another one who scored in both fixtures. Matt Jansen with a goal for Blackburn. No assister there. They lead Leicester 2-0. Sounds like Blackburn quite comfy. But we never know with Leicester, right? There is hope for Scowcroft, Izzet, Sturridge owners and the like. FPL Badger says, I'm less than 50 so far as it stands before bonus. I think I finished last night on 37. So if I finish with those 2 clean sheets, that puts me to 49. You know, appearance points and a little bit of bonus, 65. And I think that's very average. And I think roughly that's where it's going to be at. I think, roughly. There were scores last night of people who had over 60 yesterday, genuinely. There were people who had over 60, mainly bench boosters, who had over 60. Matt Jansen, another player having a cracking double game week. He finds himself about 20 yards out and it opens up for him to rifle home. Blackburn have been utterly dominant. Unless Leicester improve dramatically, it's game over for them. Patrick Lawson says, wish I'd got Jansen in blank game week 13. Niece says, no wires, no party. Andrew Martin, my Jansen tip. Good for you, mate. Gary Smith, he's got Rufus. Rufus got a goal, didn't he? Clean sheet at the weekend. He's going to be one of the highest scorers, I think, potentially. Gary Shepherd said, this Borough clean sheet is a kick in the teeth with Gordon still in my squad. Ooh. Yeah, potentially a bad one for those who came through. Scarlett says, I think Andy simmed the game before that Jansen tip on the stream. I can tell you now, factually, that the guys do not sim the midweek fixtures until they have done their Sunday night stream. Substitution at White Hart Lane. Duncan Ferguson is in real pain here, and he is now being stretchered off. A really nasty looking one. Means he'll be back in like 3 days. Nick Chadwick coming on in his place. The game is very much in the balance with 15 minutes to go. Late Riser 12 says that tweet you read at equals Leicester goal incoming. Championship manager. Did anyone see Sneaker finished on 12 points after yesterday's games? If you're struggling for points, then just remember him. I don't know who Sneaker is, but wow, someone scored 12 points last night. Fuck me. Must have had Elliot, Ashley Cole. Bloody hell. I didn't see it. I'll be honest, I don't know who that is either. Someone point me in a direction once the stream is finished. I bet he's having an amazing night now. Goal at the Stadium of Light. Super Kevin Phillips is on the score sheet for Sunderland. The double game week has started with 15 minutes to go. Kevin Phillips the scorer. And I reckon the assister could be popular too. It's Michael Gray. Phillips the goal scorer. Michael Gray with the assist. It has taken me 166 minutes. But I have an attacking return. Super Kevin Phillips. Super Kevin Phillips. That's definitely 65 average now, at least. There'll be some Phillips captainers, won't there? We know that. Kevin Phillips gets in on the double game week scoring act late in the day. The England striker sets up the move by feeding the ball wide for Michael Gray, who puts in a near perfect cross where the poacher is lurking to head past Cudicini. Game over. Could be Ranieri's job gone as well. Phillips now, I think, is the only player with more than 1% captaincy who has returned in this game week. If you captain Kevin Phillips, like I would have on my dead team if I'd done nothing on a free hit and not got in Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, you may well be winning now. That could be a big, big goal. Big goal. Vinyl Richie's happy with that. Irons Mack is not happy with that. Clean sheet wipeout. Finally a bloody goal. When I say clean sheet wipeout, people don't want to hear goal. Goal! It's all gone mental now in this double game week. Spurs are ahead with kids on the pitch. Simon Davis has assisted in both games this game week. Who scored? It's Salakovic for Spurs. They lead Everton 2-1 with 12 minutes to go. Stefan Salakovic, the gamble has paid off. He has returned. Spurs lead 2-1. Salakovic goal. Simon Davis assist. Spurs are in the hunt now for the European places, sniffing around that top 4. I realise it's only top 3 that get into the Champions League in this. However, if Spurs finish 4th, I ain't fucking telling anyone that. I can tell you right now. Salakovic goal. Imagine Phillips and Salakovic owners. Got to be some out there who have waited 165 minutes and then suddenly, bang, it has come like bonuses. It's come to life this double game week. Let us know in the chat if you've got Phillips and Salakovic. That's going to be many, I think. If you got neither, I think you're now in trouble. Spurs lead. Davis and Salakovic combine again. The young Welshman picking out the Swede with a neat pass, and he in turn drives the ball past a helpless Paul Gerrard. Spurs only need to hold on for just over 10 minutes. Ultra Recluse says, wow, my game week is accelerating. There you go. Blade's got a return. I got some news on Jason Yule, actually, for you, FPL Blade. There's no news. Matt Morrison, yes, have them both. FPL Chancellor, come on, you Spurs, come on, you Spurs, come on. Sims #1 entertainers, isn't they, just even with kids? You know, with nothing with kids, they said. Patrick Dawson really could do with another Johnston return now. Gary Smith has got neither. Auto Recluse has them both. We kind of guessed that. Heskimo's got them both. Alexander Delzil's got them both. Vinyl Richie is Phillips captain and Salakovic. For anybody who's got both or even either, well done. Substitution at Villa Park. Change of piece here. Brian Howard is off for Joe Tesson for the Saints. While Villa have just brought on Hitzelsberger for Delaney. Villa looking comfortable here. In spite of the 3-2 scoreline, Southampton have just one shot on target, even though they've scored 2 goals. Con Blacksis has gone off injured at Pride Park. It's almost like the strain of playing in Australia Saturday and in Derby Wednesday was a bit of a push. He is replaced by Lee Morris. Charlton beginning to push for an equaliser now as Derby look to hold on. Carl Norbury says, come on Hasselbank. I wouldn't be keeping any fingers crossed for Chelsea, genuinely. Oh, the game isn't over apparently at the Stadium of Light. Obviously, it's 10 minutes to go. There is a penalty at the Stadium of Light. Wow, big news. Penalty at Stadium of Light. So Petit normally takes them for Chelsea. He's not playing. Sunderland, I don't think have had one this season. I've heard Emerson Tome in some sims. Kevin Phillips obviously is a natural possibility. At Chelsea, could be any number of players. I think with Petit off the pitch, I wouldn't even be surprised if it's one of the 3 centre-halves. As long as John Terry don't slip, it should be all right. But I don't even know who the penalty has gone to. We'll wait. This has felt like a long time in waiting, and suddenly it really has all come alive. Let's wait for news on that. Alan Cronin says a Scowcroft 89th minute goal is incoming. Patrick Lawson has neither Salakovic or Phillips. That's put the game week from decent to probably below average. The penalty is to Sunderland. Michael Gray plays the ball into Kevin Phillips in the box. Terry gets caught up with him and ends up pushing the striker in the ground. Penalty to Sunderland. No word on the taker. Obviously, should it be scored, it's a Phillips assist as well. Unless, of course, he's taking it. So it's either Phillips is on for an attack in return. That we know. We don't know who the taker is. I presume they're going to just put up goal assist or missed. Let's wait and see. And I've got Kudachini as my goalkeeper as well. So this is a bit of a... it's going to be like Phillips puts it wide. That would be my luck. We await news. Goal scored by Sunderland. He won it and he scored it. Kevin Phillips has scored again. 4-0 to manager the Sunderland against Chelsea. Claudio Ranieri is not going to be in charge for Chelsea's game week 16 fixture at Old Trafford. Surely. Any of you tempted by Ruud van Nistelrooy at the weekend? Clearly, that 2-day turnaround has had an effect here. Surely. As much as they frustrate Chelsea, 4-0 down at Sunderland. My goodness. Phillips with a second. His ownership, Kevin Phillips, overall. And I only know, obviously, you'll see the captaincy stats come round. His overall ownership in the game, Kevin Phillips, for this game week was... I didn't write it down. Wow, Sunderland are destroying Chelsea. Kevin Phillips' penalty is perfectly in the corner, in off the post. Danny Mills has injured his foot and is hobbling off. Craddock coming on. I think everybody's been waiting for Kevin Phillips for a while. Phillips' ownership will come round shortly, I think, because he's one of the most owned, I think. If someone can confirm from the Championship Manager, guys, I'd appreciate that if you know. I wrote down ownership numbers for so many teams and for some reason didn't write anything down for Sunderland assets. David Strom is amongst the Phillips captainers. Andrew Mike says, Sunderland don't need Shreves. Leave it to the attacking caretaker. Nice Godfrey, how is this going so bad? Clean sheet wipeout potential 26 points for those who captained. I'm not sure that's correct, mate. There's more. There's the appearance points from the other day as well. It's a potential 30 in total. Now, what do you think the average is going to be? My pre-game week expectation was that we'd be about 85. I think certainly those Phillips returns are pushing this above 70 with just appearance points and that only. I am told that the Scout account has just picked up his guitar. And for regular followers of Rockstar's account, that means that potentially team news incoming now for game week 16. Wow, that's some big news incoming. Big news. Crazy double game week. You didn't think we'd finish the crazy, fantastic double game week 15 without slipping a bit of game week 16 news, did you? The Scout has a busy Friday. Let's do this. Wow, some news for game week 16 is about to come up now. Ipswich have a goal in Portugal. Martin Roycer is the goal scorer. He gives Ipswich fans something to cheer before they head out. Finidi has been a creative force tonight, and he sets up Roycer for the easiest of chances, and he taps home. Too little, too late, surely. Well, two more would put Ipswich through, but yeah, I mean, surely not. Excuse me. Clean sheet wipeout says, oh shit, yeah, forgot about the other game. So will have others. Stephen Hamilton says, this is worse than Mane triple captain. It could well be that as I would have captained Phillips in a dead team, that my dead team would have scored more than my free hit. That is a possibility at the moment, just off of Phillips alone. Fidium 2 question about Liverpool. Still 3-1 down, mate. They're going out. They're done. Deportivo are too good a side, mate. What's Scout saying now? What is Rob Pick up to? Scout says, I've had the scoop on this news, but in case I'm wrong, we'll hear it from the post-match manager interviews. The quickest way to get the news? Tune in now to Planet FPL live stream on YouTube, and he will read it straight from the manager's mouth. You can wait 10 PM right here. Yeah, I've known all day he was going to do that shit. Update from St James's Park. We haven't been to St James's all evening. It's been the most boring game imaginable. We've hardly any chance at it at all. Ajax have been professional and solid, and Newcastle are heading out of the UEFA Cup with a whimper. Focus on the relegation scrap. Question. Obviously, Ajax 3-0 up on aggregate. Yes, Rob was in touch with me earlier and said he would give me a leak. I genuinely have no clue what that leak is. I said to him that I absolutely did not want to know what it would be. But yeah, that's incoming shortly. We are a minute to go, basically, plus injury time. Only the 6 Premier League games. Middlesbrough, Sunderland, Blackburn holding on to clean sheets. Numbers got Blackburn defensively. Anyone got Sunderland defensively? Did you have Michael Gray? I've got Tome. Is it back-to-back clean sheets? 1 minute remains of double game week 15. Will we see any late drama, says the official account. Is it back-to-back clean sheets for Sunderland and Middlesbrough? Gareth Southgate is a massive letdown for me. Went off before the hour, otherwise it looked like back-to-back. Remember, Bolton are down to 10 men. Sunderland back-to-back clean sheets would be a huge shock from Leicester away and Chelsea at home. I got Tomin, Emerson Tomin for bonus points. Is he in 2 clean sheets back-to-back? No one's got Blackburn defensively, have they? Don't do shit away from home. Leicester at home, the way they've been attacking lately. No, so I think that the main defensive coverage here will be on Borough. A Bolton goal would be huge. full time. No late drama today, folks, but I think it's fair to say that we've had enough trauma for this double game week. Right, Chelsea in particular have been a source of pain. We're hearing rumours of a furious looking Ken Bates at the Stadium of Light, so you're not alone in your anger, FPL captain. Please turn the final 6 fixtures of this double game week 15 red. Hang on with me for bonus points, and obviously as Rob Pick the Scout has revealed, I have an exclusive coming up, which I don't know what it's going to be, on a team leak for double game week 16. I would be surprised if it doesn't involve Liverpool. Gary Shepherd saying James Michael Gray's a mid, I think. Is he a midfielder? Fuck me. Fuck me. I can tell you right now that some of you will be changing your double game week 16 captain. I have the exclusive from Gerard Houllier in the post-match press conference after Liverpool's 3-1 defeat to Deportivo La Coruña. Steven Gerrard and Sami Hyypiä will be rested for Liverpool's first game of double game week 16 against Derby County and will not be in the squad. There is no news on the second game. Obviously not. You can't give news on what's going to happen afterwards. But the big breaking news, I've seen some people saying they were going Hyypiä captain. Hyypiä and Gerrard, and they're both in my squad, by the way, will not be in Liverpool's 16 for their clash with Derby County at the weekend. Absolutely locks Fowler as captain for me, although it doesn't mean that Fowler will start. And of course, they've still got to start Hyypiä and Gerrard because it's Fulham at home in the midweek afterwards, so they could still go batshit crazy. So I'm not going to be forcing the change on that. I'll go with it as it is. Could well mean the rolling of a transfer for me to make sure I get the right Manchester United third asset for double game week 17. Yes, that's not a wind up. Genuinely, Houllier has confirmed that Steven Gerrard and Sami Hyypiä will not play in the first of Liverpool's double game week 16 fixtures, and they will not be on the bench even either. They will be out of Liverpool's double game week 16. Thank you very much to the champ man guys and Mr. Rob Pick doing a brilliant job as the scout for dropping that exclusive for us out. Very kind of you. Could you have picked some different fucking players, you arseholes? I prepped for it properly and that didn't really come off, did it? Gary Smith says, Richie Partridge is in. Yeah, that's a turn up. Oh, shit, bonus points are coming in. I forgot I meant to be doing that shit. Right, bonus points. Here we go. Villa Park first. Top bonus goes to George Boateng. There were 2 bonus points for 3 Aston Villa players. Alpine, Bosco Balaban and Dion Dublin. And also Southampton's Marion Pahars. No save points in that fixture for either goalkeeper. 2 bookings for man of the match Boateng, who had a 9 out of 10 rating. And Lee Hendry, who had a 7 out of 10 rating, was also booked. Villa's changes were inside the last 10 minutes, as we knew. Hitzelsberger for Delaney. And very late on, Hassan Kashlall for Ian Taylor. Southampton replaced Mark Draper with Matt Oakley on 55, Joe Tesson for Brian Howard on 71. Mark Draper and Gavin Ray of Southampton had 5 out of 10 ratings. Southampton's Paul Jones, after errors in the Blackburn fixture, picked up a 4 out of 10 rating. Top bonus at Ewood Park goes to Matt Janssen. There are 2 bonus points for Jason McAteer, Stig Inge Bjornaby, John Curtis, Corrado Grabby, David Dunn, and no Leicester City players are in the bonus. The official account says Blackburn totally outcast the Foxes today. 5 defeats in a row for the Foxes, including cup games, who are well and truly in a slump. So much so that Tim Flowers picked up 4 save point bonus. Yes, 4 save point bonus. That means he's made at least 12 saves in that game. One yellow card in the match to speak of was for Blackburn's Jason McAteer. Jansen's man of the match performance was an 8 out of 10. The only change Blackburn made was Mark Hughes from Marcus Bent on minute 89. Damien Delaney was replaced for Leicester by Jordan Stewart on 63. Matt Jones came on for Robbie Savage on 81. Dean Sturridge had a 5 out of 10 rating in that game. To the team from the Riverside. Top bonus for Middlesbrough in their 1-0 win at Bolton goes to Alan Boksic. There are 2 bonus points for Hamilton Rickard. There is 1 bonus point for Jussi Jääskeläinen, Ugo Egiog, Marinelli, and that's it. No bonus for Alan Johnston. 1 save point bonus for Jääskeläinen. Johnston's rating in game was 7 out of 10 for those interested. Boksic's man of match was 8 out of 10. Those in a bonus only on 8 out of 10. No bookings in the match, but we know that Akinori Nishizawa was sent off for Bolton on 31 minutes for a scuffle with Gareth Southgate. I suppose I shouldn't complain too much about Southgate going off on 56 minutes. It could have been a red card. Southgate had been replaced by Jonathan Greening at a similar time. Middlesbrough replaced Dean Windass with Paul Ocon. And Noel Whelan also came on early in the second half for the injured Paul Ince. Bolton's changes were Bo Hansen for Rod Wallace on 51. Paul Warhurst for Robert Lee on 67. To Pride Park. Top bonus goes to Derby County's Adam Murray with a 9 out of 10 man of match performance. There were 2 bonus points for Georgie Kinclarsey, rooted on most people's bench. 1 bonus point for a number of players. 5 Derby players, Aranio, Johnson, Blatsis, Christie and Danio. And also 4 Charlton players, Chris Powell, Richard Rufus, Sean Bartlett and Mark Kinsella. 1 save point each for Poom and Kylie. Rest in peace, FPL Blade. 1 booking in the match for Jason. I'm joking. It was for Mark Fish. Derby's changes were Lee Morris on for the injured Blatsis on 80. And Danio came on for Umaweni on 72 minutes. Graham Stewart replaced Klaus Jensen on 64 minutes for Charlton. To the Stadium of Light. Top bonus for Kevin Phillips. 2 bonus points for Chris Bart-Williams, Gary Till, Lillian Leslanders and Michael Reddy. The only bonus point for any Chelsea assets was 1 save point bonus for Carlo Cudicini. 2 bookings in the match for Sunderland's Stefan Schwartz and Chelsea's Benito Carboni. Jody Morris, Mikel Forsell, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, all with 5 out of 10s. Considering Forsell and Stanic went off on 57, Hasselbank owners may feel somewhat lucky that they even got the 2-point return here. Johnson and Zola were used as substitutes for Stanic and Forsell. Sunderland's sole change was Jody Craddock for the injured Danny Mills on 81. Phillips' man of the match rating was a 10 out of 10. The others in the bonus for Sunderland got 9 out of 10s. Interestingly, Emerson Tome, 7 out of 10. And finally, to White Hart Lane, top bonus to Stefan Everson. 2 bonus points for Alton Farewell, Simon Davis and Stefan Salakovic. 1 save point each for both keepers, Casey Keller and Paul Gerrard. Spurs had unbelievably replaced Richard Johnson and Stephen Clements with Ben Bodic and Chris Armstrong on 21 minutes. The 2 players replaced were on 6 out of 10s. That's slightly strange. Everton had replaced Radzinski and Watson with Xavier and Campbell on 58 minutes. Nick Chadwick replaced the injured Duncan Ferguson on 76 minutes. It was a 5 out of 10 rating for Everton's Duncan Ferguson. Everybody in the bonus had an 8 out of 10 rating. On the Champions League matches, just a little bit of a roundup from there. Mikel Silvestre had Manchester United's man of the match in their 0-0 draw with Lazio. And despite losing 2-0 at Olympiacos. Thierry Henry had an 8 out of 10 rating. The official man of the match was given to Christian Karembeu, but Henry did have an 8 out of 10 rating. Ashley Cole, Tony Adams, both 5 out of 10 ratings for Arsenal. They'd used Lauren and Matthew Upson to replace Robert Perez and Oleg Luzny just before the hour. Manchester United, we knew, had replaced York with Cole on 56 minutes, and Scholes replaced Veron with about 15 minutes to go. Van Nistelrooy, very rarely, with just a 7 out of 10, which I think speaks volumes for Lazio's capabilities in this game. And just on the UEFA Cup games, man of the match in the Liverpool game was obviously Diego Tristan with a hat-trick, 10 out of 10 rating. Liverpool's best performer and only starter with more than a 6 out of 10 was Nick Barmby. Emil Heskey subbed on 88 minutes with a 5 out of 10. Every other Liverpool player was 6 out of 10. There were substitute appearances for Richie Partridge on for Murphy, 54. Carragher on for Biscan, 66. And Hako Goodnessson for Heskey on 88. For Leeds United, who are out 3-2 in aggregate, having lost 3-0 in Milan this evening. Top man of match rating in the match went to Zvonimir Boban, 9 out of 10 man of match. Leeds' best performer was Nigel Martin, 8 out of 10. There was a 5 out of 10 for Olivier Dacour, was replaced by Dominic Mattei on 79 minutes. Leeds had withdrawn Stephen McPhail for David Batty, also on 62 minutes. For Newcastle, not much to speak of here. Lamana Loire was Newcastle's sole change, replacing Gavilan on 84 minutes. Nikos Dabizas actually got man of the match in the game. You're right, Kev. With an 8 out of 10 rating, Zlatan Ibrahimovic made a 6-minute substitute appearance for Ajax. I noticed Gavilan's Newcastle rating was a 5 out of 10, but I don't think anyone's looking at them. Perhaps more interestingly for Ipswich, no particularly bad ratings here. Jermaine Wright started as a striker, basically, was replaced by Alan Armstrong on 55 minutes. Martin Reusser had an 8 out of 10 performance, and actually Fanidi was given the official man of the match with an 8 out of 10 rating. I won't go through average ratings. Actually, products I will, because you won't get it before the stream, will you? Ruud van Nistelrooy 8.36, Henry 8.23, Hariderson 8, Veron 8. That's your top 4 in terms of ratings. Let's mute this other fucking prick in the chat, shall we? That's because you lot all started writing things about sex and stuff. Let's fucking report you, you fucking prick. Stefan Everson has 7.83 rating now, just behind Jesper Gronkier, 5th highest rating in the game, 7.85. Boxic, Beckham, Sylvester, Rebroff, Henshaw, Giggs, Viduka and Alan Gomar all have average ratings of 7.67 of higher. I won't go through the goals and assists because obviously that has been available on the stream in the top. Listen to me. Bottom right hand corner this evening, where you can also see the live league table, does show that Tottenham Hotspur are above Leeds and into 4th, admittedly having played a game more, just 2 points behind Woolwich from South London, although they also have a game in hand. Middlesbrough go level on points with Middlesbrough. Goal difference is 4 inferior, but they have played a game more than United. Remember, they play each other in the midweek of double game week 17, which I will not stream live for. Thank you very much, guys, for those who joined in tonight. Always much pleasure. I hope your arrows are green. Averages across the board are not going to be as high as anybody was particularly expecting. Yes, thank you very much for reminding me, James Alapran or Dave, whoever said that, for those who are still in the stream with me. Sorry, I should have said this earlier, guys. If you've played your free hit or any chip, please remember to redo your team, particularly for free hitters. You need to undo the free hit chip too if you're planning no chip next week to blank, and you need to remove all the players you put in for your free hit and obviously bring back in your old team. Otherwise, you are going to end up with some invalid shit or some seriously high point hits. Be very, very careful with that. Obviously, if you're going for triple captain Fowler, for example, from free hit, revert to your old team, change free hit to triple captain. Thank you all so much. I will be streaming again, you fucking idiot, in about 15 hours for Arse James. Please come and join me for my final run where I can go one-on-one with you guys ahead of Saturday morning's 24-hour stream that starts 6 AM on the Planet FPL YouTube channel. Get in the chat, let's talk football. If anybody's got any Patreon questions tomorrow, I'm happy to be open and honest about that in front of everybody. I have no issue with that at all. Thank you very much for your continued support. I hope you had a good night. Stay safe. Be nice to each other. And for those who just come for the champmanship, remember game week 16. The only notification you'll get on Saturday is when the stream goes live at 6 AM. Me and Suj will be here talking Champman FPL from 2:30 PM on Saturday. Take care, everybody. Thanks very much. Ciao for now.